It's January 2024, the first month, and we're going to talk about our best metal albums today.
We've got some strong contenders on here in this list. Don't go anywhere.
Kicking it off with some misanthropy, we're going to start with Hlist Hollow. This album technically releases February 2nd, but it's been live on YouTube for the last 3 weeks, so I included it here. This is a side project of two members of Polish black metal royalty at this point, Darkside on drums from Mgła fame and Kriegsmachine, and The Fall from the band Ashes on other instruments. Hollow seems somewhat like a supergroup endeavor without the letdown. Despite resembling a new Mgła album, the familiarity is not a drawback. The initial tracks like Ozymandian and Golem may echo past familiarities, and I'm all here for it, man. Check this out. The album does transform, though, and have some other influences and melodic interludes like Waves of Concrete and Death Dreamer, infusing post-punk elements, presenting a progressive take on the style, which just sounds awesome. Departing from black metal norms, tracks like Autonomy and Gardermoen experiment with more extreme black metal and gothic influences, showcasing a diverse range of emotion to the sonic blackened palette. What I love about this album is it feels like an intriguing expression of urban misanthropy. Hollow definitely warrants attention, not only for Mgła fans, but also those wanting groove in their black metal. Check it out.
Lord Dying, Clandestine Transcendence. This band quietly released one of the greatest albums of 2019 with their third full-length, Mysterium Tremendum. So when this album was announced, I got very excited, Forgemates. I gotta say, I was not disappointed, and this album is an incredibly early contender for Album of the Year. Check out what I mean. I'm a firm believer that where an artist is geographically located will affect their art, whether you're a writer, painter, or musician. There's something super unique about bands that come out of the Pacific Northwest. There's always a darker message with songs that descend into the recesses of your emotions.
We know we've lost our way now.
Lord Dying would be like if Mastodon, Soundgarden, and Yob all had a grotesquely beautiful baby. The band meticulously weaves threads of the human condition throughout its music, never shying away from being incredibly heavy or solemn. Something tells me that this is going to stand as a favorite of 2024. This album isn't perfect because at 12 tracks and nearly 59 minutes, it does drag a bit at times, which is ironic because Mysterium Tremendum is 5 minutes shorter, but it's so perfectly paced that I would just let that album repeat for days. Still, I've got nothing but love for this record, and even its blemishes are worth our time.
Skull Traverse the Belock, a wonderfully captivating concept album narrating a nomadic journey through a post-apocalyptic Scotland. Sound awesome? Well, check this out. Tony Dunn explores progressive metal with atmospheric nuances in this solo effort, deviating from conventional black folk metal associated with the Scottish Highlands. The album's crisp mix, done by Mike Lamb, establishes an expansive soundscape, allowing the rhythm guitars to carry weight, while the airy lead guitars float above those post-metal tremolos and energetic melodies. Check this out. Dunn's vocals, reminiscent of his other band, Falak, harmonize and layer dynamically here, enhancing that overall performance, and it just sounds so good. The album skillfully captivates with the seamless progression of one riff to the next, creating a sense of physical momentum, and it's done so well. Overall, Traverse the Balak impresses with its cohesive, absorbing musical journey through Scotland, showcasing Dunn's prowess as a solo musician and songwriter. Despite the album being a little bit long, it does drag at points. I think a couple of songs could have been cut. Traverse the Balak stands out for its melodic richness and harmonious interplay. This album could easily make an album of the year list at the end of 2024.
Engulf, the dying planet weeps. This is a debut record from American solo artist Hal M. When I saw this record was coming out via Everlasting Spew, I had a strong feeling there was going to be some gent and deathcore influences. Well, consider me a prophet or some shit. Now, typically I would be pretty turned off by this, but the album does a really nice job of towing the line of old school death, tech death, a la Decapitated, and newer style of tech death, more like Shadow of Intent with their deathcore influences. Hal doesn't shy away from his influences, citing bands like Hate Eternal and Gorguts as inspiration. You hear them too, right? That's some really cool stuff right there. While he doesn't manage to rewrite the tech death landscape like Gorguts or Archspire, Hal certainly managed to blend a few styles of vicious death metal into one brutal grab bag, showcasing modern tricks you might hear on AAA releases. I gotta say, the production on here is going to turn some of you off, as it did for me. The drums are very stale and lifeless, and I really dislike how much low end there is on the kick. Usually I like the low end, the frequencies to be in the bass guitar, and it was not occupying that spot in the waveform. That's a creative decision that somebody made, not me. Outside of that, I really like the modern take on an old school sound. Nice job, Hal. I really like this record.
Vitriol, Suffer, and Become. Death metal fans pay the hell attention here, man, because this album came out swinging hard. This record has some serious contrast, and I love that. The high highs and low lows convey intensity and maturity compared to their fantastic debut. This time around, Vitriol allows a lot more breathing room in the composition space and also in production, enriching that overall experience. The track Shame in its Afterbirth opens with a varied approach featuring a creepy intro, and that just amplifies the subsequent onslaught. Check this out. The tracks overall maintained relentless speed and also heavy weightiness, surprising with melodic elements and exceptional guitar work. Flowers of Sadism explores a groovier approach, reminiscent of Morbid Angel's Where the Slime Live, and this was a turning point for me from liking this record to absolutely loving it. You can tell that this is a band that loves to showcase pure rage and suffering through transformation. This is a band that's unafraid to experiment with brutality in many forms, and what we have here is something that ended up being outstanding that could easily hit end of the year lists in the death metal category. Before we get to our next review, hit that like button, really helps us out a ton, and if you don't mind, hit subscribe too.
We are trying to build a community of musicians and metalheads and artists and people that just love this stuff. We appreciate the hell out of you, and we got some merch too. You might want to go scope that out.
And with that, back to the video.
Morning Dawn, the foam of despair. I was certainly not expecting a strong Black and Doom album to come out so soon, but here we are, full of surprises and whack opinions about bands that you love and hate. For those unaware, this band has been around for 22 years, delivering massive slabs of grim, sorrowful metal that is sure to leave you feeling oppressed. This album has a strong rise in quality as it lumbers on, starting off fine and ending at great. I've got to spawn a word of caution before you jump into this one. It's bleak. Unlike Lord Dying, which has moments of hope and optimism, the foam of despair is like quicksand. It will latch onto you and suck you down. Just be sure to have your favorite pop or emo album at hand to wash yourself of the sticky foam that is sure to coat your entire body after you hear this record.
This is
Master, Saints Dispelled. This is a death metal band that absolutely deserves their name, man. They've been at it since the 80s, and you can tell that they've just dominated their craft. Saints Dispelled sees this Czechia-based death thrash trio delivering a trademark ferocity with renewed vigor. Led by the sole founding member, Paul Speckman, his distinct vocals, and also Alex 93's vicious riffing, the album showcases a youthful but bloodthirsty energy throughout, which really comes forward with their new drummer, Peter Bacci. The chemistry between the drummer's blistering beats and these razor-sharp riffs just seem seamless throughout, portraying a band that just sounds like they've been playing together for a long freaking time. Check this out. Clocking in at 38 minutes or so, the album's got no fat whatsoever. Highlight tracks like Destruction in June, Saints Dispelled burst with the death thrash glory in the first half of the record, while the latter part features potent offerings like Find Your Life and Wizard of Evil. Despite some occasional stumbles with some of the longer tracks, Saints Dispelled predominantly delivers a tried and true old school death thrash record that Master is revered for, leaving a trail of impactful but relentless bangers. What did you love in January? There was some pretty sick metal albums. I'm sure we missed a ton of them. Leave your favorites down below in the comments, and while you're at it, check out one of our other videos right here.
Go with the gods, Forgemates. The Hauntologist awaits.
It's the end of February, and look at you. You made it. I'm so excited that you're here. We're going to talk about our picks for the best metal albums of February. Stick around.
Life and death, and now you say that I reached it all. Will I see?
Kicking it off with Chapel of Disease, Echoes of Light. When I went into this record, I was expecting some sickening death metal, and most of us would, right? With some black metal overtones. I was new to this band, and boy, was I wrong, dude. This record defied every single one of my initial expectations. Sure, there are death metal roots here, but when they venture into that diverse subgenre territory, that's where the magic really happens on this record. Tracks like Gold Dust reminds me of Sumerlands and Tribulation, while songs like Shallow Nights just sound like an 80s ballad with dreamy vocals. When Chapel of Disease embraces metal, their aggression is a true sight to behold. The title track, Echoes of Light, is fun as hell. It shows the band's wild ability to adventure into unexpected territory. This album offers an intriguing and highly memorable experience throughout, surprising the hell out of me as a new fan. If you somehow missed this record, it is absolutely worth exploring, but if you go in expecting orthodox death metal, you might be unpleasantly or pleasantly surprised.
Ihsahn Self-Titled. The long-awaited self-titled record from this brilliant Norwegian musician takes a twofold approach, Forgemates, incorporating a cinematic orchestral experience alongside an extreme metal one. It's a no-brainer for anyone that's been following Ihsahn since his days with Emperor, but how does it actually play out? Pretty fucking good, don't you think? This is by no means my favorite record from Ihsahn. That one I would have to give to his 2010 release, After. Amazing album. Check out our Ihsahn Albums Ranked video right here for more of our thoughts on that. So what makes this one stand out if there aren't really any crushing songs in particular or mind-blowing sections that stand out? I just lied about that part because there's plenty of mind-blowing sections here. And for one, I gotta say, it takes a lot of confidence to come out in 2024 and say, I'm gonna release an orchestral black metal album, as if it hasn't been done 150,000 times since the early 2000s here. Ihsahn is an OG in the symphonic black metal field, so of course it makes sense that he would eventually come around to this. The landscape of symphonic metal bands is much more saturated today, more than ever. So to create something that is worthy of being on its own is definitely worth noting. This album ties in very nicely with this year's Bornagar release. There are a lot of similarities in how they approach their music with that icy cold Norwegian sound, blending in elements of 70s prog rock and never keeping their eye off of those extreme influences. Not an album to be missed this year for certain.
Spectral Voice, Sporagmos, man, these dudes truly captured a mesmerizing and also terrifying experience on this new sophomore album. Delving deeper into Death Doom territory with spooky intensity and with clear influences from the Funeral Doom greats, Sporagmos channels a fiendish atmosphere, enveloping listeners in reverberating guitar chords and wild bass textures. Tracks like Red Feast condensed into one blend blast beats with unhinged vocals, and this is where that contrast between slow and fast hits really hard for me. Despite the album's density, Sporagmos captivated me with its intricate development, challenging the listener to face its overwhelming force throughout. Slow moments like Be Cadaver and Death's Knell Rings into Eternity completely enveloped me in sorrow. In its violence, this album has a strange beauty to it, making it one of the most compelling Death Doom experiences of a modern metal record. Spectral Voice achieves their goal, leaving listeners overcome and overwhelmed by the power of this sophomore album. Check it out.
Bipolar Architecture, Metaphysicize. These German post-black metalers reached into the depths of my soul and pulled out what could be yet another early contender for Album of the Year. For me, this record has been getting a lot of love on metal sites on the internet, and for damn good reason. I'm not well versed on musical theory to name the melodic structure that this band uses, but it's become a sonic trope in this and other genres where the key change goes from somber to slightly hopeful in this infinite loop. It never gets old for me. Bands like Rapture, Catatonia, Anathema, Paradise Lost, they all do it with magnificent results. This album leans into that structure, and guess what? It's magnificent, as always. This will surely intrigue anyone who loves Harakiri for the Sky, Panopticon, Russian Circles, and Downfall of Gaia. There are sprinkles of gent in there too, with the way that the band plays with sound splicing and these wild digitized transitions that bust out a heavy hitting groove after a long passage of sad instrumentation. My only ding on this nearly perfect album is that the vocal dynamics are very one-dimensional. The band seems to be either self-aware of this or intentional in this flat delivery because there are long passages of instrumental music that give the album a lot of breathing room. If you're really caught up on the bland vocals, I think you're missing out on the bigger picture here. Check this one out.
Necrowret, Swords of Dajjal. This band rarely left my rotation this month. Unbelievably catchy, well-written, and well-produced black metal with heavy and death metal vibes sprinkled throughout the record. Necrowret draws inspiration from Islamic mythology, particularly the figure, I'm going to put this on the screen because I will butcher the pronunciation, but also known as the Great Deceiver. Vlad's vocals are a huge highlight for me on the Swords of Dajjal. Being front and center and throaty and just pure fucking evil, dude. Contrasted against the melodic tremolo riffing, killer and catchy drum work, I was just enthralled from start to finish. Clocking in at a tight 37 minutes, Swords of Dajjal avoids overindulgence, delivering a tight and intense set of tracks with absolutely zero fat on it. This is my first run with the band, and comparing against their last record, which I did scope, it's a huge step up, dude. This is a black metal album with an epic journey to it that everyone should experience if you're a fan of the genre. Sinister, yet viciously overwhelming. Swords of Dajjal should be in your playlist, my dudes. It might make my end of the year list for 2024, too.
Bornagar Fall. Well, Forgemates, if you watched our Bornagar tier list, you are probably here for my in-depth review of their 12th studio release, Fall. And if you haven't watched that video yet, give this one a pause real quick and check that video out because they are one of our favorite bands and they have an incredible discography. Go ahead. I'll be here when you return, I promise. What I love about Bornagar is that they stand out as one of the premier Norwegian black metal bands alongside acts like Enslaved, In the Woods, Green Carnation, and Isan. Their ambition and steady flow of full-length albums is what put them on the radar. So what makes their newest one so great? These masters of ambition have pushed ahead even further, wonderfully incorporating bits of other genres such as trad/power and doom metal on a very sparing occasion, and that makes some parts of this album hit super hard. The record, I would say, is very front-loaded with all their bangers in the very first half of the record, like this one, Moon, one of our favorites. Due to that, the album kind of loses steam a bit with Stars Ablaze and Unraveling, but when Northward comes in, yeah, it grabs you by the guts and insists on your attention. I enjoy this record more with the second and third listen, especially having their whole discography in context very fresh in my mind.
No chains can bind us, shackles can't hold.
These guys have come a long way since their debut and are easily one of the top tier in their little niche subgenre. They deserve all the recognition and accolades. Great job, Oystein and crew.
Rovos, Spirits. Man, this was a really cool album. I will say, don't throw this record on if you're looking to be immediately hooked. This is meant to be enjoyed as a somewhat spiritual, slow build experience similar to bands like High Lung and Wardruna. In an era enamored with ancient cultures, Rovos taps into Baltic traditions with absolute finesse. Starting as a solo project, the band's evolution into full ensemble speaks to their really compelling vision here. Tracks like The Sun and the Morning Star blend that modern metal intensity that I love with traditional elements, and that's where this album truly shines. What really stood out to me was the masterful guitar work throughout, with each song offering a unique experience for different reasons. World Tree shines with infectious grooves and Gregorian chant-like vocals. If you're a history nerd, and if you love metal that infuses cinematic feelings and that old ways spiritual vibe, this is definitely an album you need to check out.
Obsidian Tongue, the Stoneheart EP. This is a longtime favorite band of ours, and if you've been following the channel since the beginning, first of all, thank you, Forgemates. You might remember how we hyped their third studio album, Volume 3. Check out a clip from that record.
Yeah, and you have a little insight.
God, look how famished we were. That was right before COVID and lockdowns, and wow, this is like a totally different era of life. A lot happens in the span of 4 years, and while Obsidian Tongue hasn't necessarily shifted their sound, the addition of Falls of Rovos drummer Ray and bassist vocalist Brian from Eve has truly spawned a new era for the band. Brendan Hayter, the captain of the USS Obsidian Tongue, has always incorporated a psychedelic flair to the music, pulling at tropes created by The Doors, Electric Light Orchestra, or Pink Floyd. While this foundation still remains strong for the band, this EP proves that the band wants to get heavier and meaner. We don't showcase a lot of EPs simply due to their short runtime, but this is one worth talking about. We're really excited for their next full-length release if this is the direction that they are going towards.
Job for a Cowboy with Moon Healer. Their surprising shift in direction on their fourth album, Sun Eater, nearly a decade ago, caught me and a lot of people off guard. Despite retaining their trademark technical skill and highly aggressive edge, the incorporation of progressive elements brought a fresh complexity to their sound, and following a hiatus and their fifth release, Moon Healer has emerged, and oh boy does it smash dicks.
And Ryan trying to handle that puck along the boards, and you can see
The body's crying within his power.
Stylistically, Moon Healer feels like a natural extension of its predecessor, appealing to fans of the contemporary progressive death metal sound. Job for a Cowboy continues to experiment boldly here, reaffirming their commitment to progressive metal influences while staying rooted in that absolutely killer death metal sound. Moon Healer showcases the band's confidence in exploration, blending aggression with intricate metal composition. I could not get enough of this damn record when I hit play. I let it go over and over and over again, and I think it's easily my favorite in their discography at this point. When we said a few months ago in this video that there is new death metal still changing the damn game and keeping things fresh, well, here's a beastly fucking example. Do not skip this record if you love death metal.
Holder versus An Oath. The cold months are filled with black metal Forgemates, and one of the best black metal albums of the month can easily be handed out to this band with their sophomore release via $20 spin. Check this shit out. What I love about some of the younger up-and-coming bands these days is that they really want to pay tribute to a wide swath of their influences. We were there at one point too. Sometimes that can be a jumbled mess, but with the right focus and production team, an album comes along that rightfully meanders the complexities of subgenres. So apart from the savagery and misanthropic nature of black metal, Holder also explores the more mystical, dare I say, romantic, romance aspects of black metal, utilizing eerie synths and cavernous atmospheres. But of course, you're here for the metal, right? Well, this album doesn't shy away from that. The blast beats, tremolo picking, shrieking wails. They're all here in spades, don't worry. Just expect a more varied ride throughout this 40-minute runtime. You'll be in for a nice treat.
Did you say who you wanted to say?
Chelsea Wolfe, She Reaches Out to She. Okay, metal nerds, I know this isn't a metal record. This is an album that is heavy in the emotional sense, and many metal fans love Chelsea Wolfe for her infectiously dark and melancholic vibes. As a fan of early industrial music and also goth rock, Chelsea Wolfe has spun her own take into a modern witchy adaptation that's as infectious as it is absolutely gorgeous. Wolfe's latest album, She Reaches Out to She, produced by David Seatek, delves into the themes of surrender and hope amidst the chaos, and that feeling is captured perfectly in every damn song. While her music often explores darkness, offering guidance through the terror, it now embraces the unknown with confidence. Her previous works, her voice wasn't really the center of attention. The music was just this one big enigmatic emotional force. But in this new work, her gorgeous voice takes the center stage. taking us through a frightening, somber soundscape of sadness and acceptance. Though it's filled with introspective lyrics and absolutely haunting melodies, this is an album that has not left my rotation this month. Easily hit my album of the year list. Check it out if you're looking for something sad. What did you dig from February? Leave it down in the comments below. If you love this video, make sure you hit the like button. It really helps us out. Subscribe if you're new. Go with the gods, Forgemates. The Chapel of Disease awaits your penance. I was surprised as to how great March's metal albums were, man.
There were some slimy picks, there were some invincible picks. These are amazing picks from March. Messiah, Christus Hypercubus, he is risen. And he's trapped inside the Christus Hypercubus. Kind of a new band for me. They're actually introduced to me through our Bad Album art video. Scope it right here in the thing. It's right there. I know it.
This is cool.
I really like it.
Yeah.
The keyboards are sick.
Messiah is still thrashing, and this album, their 7th studio album, is pretty stacked, Forgemates. There are some absolute rippers on here, and these Swiss Christians, are here to pronounce the name of their savior, Jesus Christ! All memes aside, this band is the real deal, guys. Their guitar tones are frickin' insane. The drums are modern without being too compressed and digitized. And the growling vocals are a very welcome addition, really pushing this album into death thrash territory. Expect some fantastic solos and tenacious riffs from this album, with Once Upon a Time Nothing being one of their highlight songs. Some of these riff passages do tend to drag and repeat a bit, keeping this album from being an album of the year contender. Still, I'm not even like a big thrash fan, and this feels totally worth your time. Scope it.
Hlist Nocturnal Will. This is a compelling reminder that black metal can still blow the grim doors down with killer metal releases in 2024. I will admit that I've been particularly fond of the death metal genre lately, but this album emerges proud and frozen as hell in the black metal subgenre. With a blend of raw energy and melodic finesse, Hlist showcases their mastery in what I love about the black metal genre: atmosphere, finesse, and yes, weirdly enough, groove. The album's fiery spirit, exemplified by shimmering guitars and roaring, screeching black metal vocals, captivated me from start to finish on this record. Tracks like Nocturnal Fire and As Death Comes Reaping blend furious intensity with gentle melancholy, creating a uniquely immersive experience from start to finish. While the album may not innovate stylistically, its dynamic energy kept me highly engaged throughout. If you enjoy bands like Winterfelleth or Spectral Wound, you will easily fall in love with this record. Nocturnal Will is a fantastic example of the emotional power that black metal holds, offering both joy and sadness in equal measure. With its captivating melodies and raw honesty, this album demands your attention. Definitely don't miss it.
Gray Skies Fallen, molded by broken hands. A more overlooked melodic doom band from the US. I first learned about these guys when I saw them at a small nightclub in New York City with November's Doom, Gwynblade, and Saturnus. That was a super memorable show and a highlight of my concert-going life. As you just heard, these guys have a strong foothold in the somber, melodic territory, bringing in tropes from other extreme genres to keep things pretty interesting. There have been a lot of comparisons to their label mates Gothrim. Personally, I don't see it, and I don't think it's a really fair comparison. There are some huge names associated with this record. Forgemates, Profound Lore, a massive international metal label, Travis Smith, a world-renowned metal album artist, Dan Swano and Colin Marston taking on mastering and engineering duties, respectively. You can tell that this album has that magic touch, especially on songs like Knowing That You're There. If you are a sucker for bands like My Dying Bride and November's Doom, you better have this album on your rotation. It might not be their best, but there are a few songs on here that very well could be essential to your melodic doom playlist.
Aborted, the Vault of Horrors. Aborted's latest offering draws inspiration from horror movie universes, and you know what? It's kind of my bag, man. With an impressive lineup of 10 different metal vocalists across all of the tracks, anticipation ran pretty damn high for me on this unique collaboration. With a steadfast commitment to their distinctive style over 2 whole decades, man, Aborted continues to impress, despite the criticisms of those who appreciate the band's great consistency. Tracks like Dreadbringer and The Golgothan showcase the band's ability to blend ominous atmospheres and ferocious, chunky guitar work. The album is a relentless assault, showcasing unyielding intensity and diverse vocal contributions from various guests. Vault of Horrors is easily one of Aborted's strongest releases to date, reminiscent of their acclaimed Retrogore album, which honestly, I thought this one was a little bit better. With its persistent chaos and diverse track list, this will easily hit my death metal album of the year list.
Midnight, Hellish Expectations. Easily one of the best in the modern black metal scene, Midnight was one of the first bands we ever talked about on this channel with their 2020 record, Rebirth by Blasphemy.
Hey, it's midnight. I was thinking about going to get some taffy.
Ben, I'm trying to summon the devil!
As a guitar player myself, I love this record. There's a gritty, nasty tone to every stringed instrument. The solos will strip you of your flesh and cover you in salt. There are some blistering sections on here that just pummel you. The punk influences on this record are very welcome too. Whenever I hear this album, I think of a basement show with a small drum kit in the corner, a bass rig, half stack, and SM58 covered in slobber. This record sounds like you're in a sex dungeon with the hottest BDSM folks you've ever seen, about ready to lick or kick your butthole. Spit, beer, piss, orgies, sodomy. Basically the antithesis of Christus Hypercubus. This is the 5% body fat hooded boy messiah warned you about. This record is fun as hell. Give it a spin at the gym or on a late night cruise out in the woods somewhere. It's scary.
Necrophobic in the Twilight Gray. Necrophobic's consistency in crafting their distinct, ferocious yet melodic black metal sound shines thoroughly in their latest endeavor. The single As Stars Collide immediately dispels any ambiguity, blending melodic black metal with majestic pagan atmospheres, and it is just perfect, man. Highlighted by captivating guitar arpeggios and thrashy interludes, this is a band that clearly knows what the they're doing within the black metal genre. I let this album spin over and over again that I've lost count. I doubt I'll get sick of it anytime soon. The track Shadows of the Brightest Night is easily one of my favorites on the entire record, seamlessly blending captivating guitar leads, menacing grooves, killer guitar solos, and also terrifying vocals.
I do not dread the blinding light. Spheres ablaze, flaming.
Throughout the record's 56-minute runtime, Necrophobic's effortless execution shines brilliantly and proud in their evil soundscape that they've crafted here. Sebastian and Johann's guitar work in particular should definitely be heralded as one of black metal's finest guitar duos.
Did you find your peace when the truthful ones arrive?
In the Twilight Grey ultimately solidifies itself as Necrophobic's strongest later career release in my opinion. This is easily going to make my black metal end of the year list.
Shot down in cold blood. Didn't know my name. No one understood.
Judas Priest, Invincible Shield. Outside of Slime Lord, my favorite album of March, this record melted my face when I first heard it. A lot of people were really stunned at how good Firepower was, present company included.
Into fire, fates in my hands, waiting for lightning to strike.
That album was awesome. To have them followed up about 6 years later with another studio full-length had me feeling a bit skeptical, not gonna lie. A lot of these bands that are in the twilight of their career have released mediocre albums at best. This album is far from mediocre. It's hard to believe that these guys have been at it for nearly 40 years, but we've talked about plenty of other bands that are going on 4+ decades and they still kill it. What's great about this record is that it truly doesn't let up. Even the mid-paced songs are going to showcase some incredible vocal or guitar runs, or both.
Heavy is the crown upon the rest upon his head.
I honestly pray when I'm as old as these guys that I can still play or sing this frickin' good, man. Nearly every song has a great hook, a great solo, and a nasty sounding riff. I really enjoy the modern production on this record too. It's polished like the chrome in a Harley Davidson. Easily a highlight of their later career. Is it better than Firepower? You'd really be splitting hairs, but I could easily see this album going down in like the top 5 of their career. Check it out if you, for some reason, haven't heard it.
Slime Lord, Chytridiomycosis Relinquished. All right, Forgemates, I will be real with you. If you spin any album on this list, and if you're a death metal fan, spin this album. This album came the f out of nowhere, man, and surprised the hell out of me. With the killer artwork by Brad Moore setting the tone for the bizarre metal fury within, the album unleashed a torrent of mind-bending riffs and atmospheric depths to the lowest of lowest hells. Tracks like Gut Brain Axis showcases the band's ability to seamlessly blend death metal with funeral doom elements, which, I love. Led by vocalist Andrew Ashworth's haunting delivery, it's just perfect. Far from traditional death metal themes, Slime Lord explores existential thought, offering a refreshing and unexpected take on the genre. I got a lot of Yob vibes from the lyrics, and I'm not complaining. Tracks like The Hissing Moor delve deeper into that murky, exploratory realm, while Heroic Demise channels that wild, progressive metal side along their groove influences. Despite comparisons to bands like Morbid Angel, I cannot believe how unique this band took their brand of death metal on this particular record. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of the band Sludge, a highly underrated death metal band, by the way, but almost not at all at the same time. With this album's release on 20 Bucks Spin, Chytridiomycosis Relinquished joins a roster of bands pushing the envelope of the genres that are on the label. My dudes, if you love weird ass death metal, do not skip this album.
Sonata Arctica, Clear Cold Beyond. This band has a very special place in my heart, so I had to give them some love. Silence and Winterheart's Guild were freaking game changers for me in my formative years, dude. Still great records, amazing vocals, amazing guitar playing, just amazing. Clear Cold Beyond is the 14th album under Captain Tony Kakko's banner. The lineup has gone through a tremendous amount of changes, and that reflects on the delivery of the band's output throughout the years. So how does this record contend with my favorite era of this band? That was a clip from one of my favorite songs on this record, and maybe one of the best songs they've ever written, Shamat. It stands out among what is typical of this band, some fast, up-tempo songs interspersed with sad boy ballads. Overall, this is a pretty decent Sonata Arctica record. While I wouldn't put it nearly as high as I would Winterheart's Guild or Silence, there are a lot of nods to that classic era. The pacing is a bit off and there's some bloat, but it's nice to hear some awesome solos, and Tony still going strong.
Skeletal Remains, Fragments of the Ageless. As you can see, I've been a huge fan of the death metal genre lately. I admit I had some initial skepticism going into this record, but I was pleasantly surprised by this album's undeniable strength and killer execution. From the opening moments of Relentless Appetite, the album slams in with a relentless assault of killer chunky riffs, blast beats, and best of all, groove, man. I get a lot of Hate Eternal vibes from this album, and I love every second of it. Verminous Embodiment offers a weighty death metal extreme with those slamming drums and dynamic grooves, while the track Unmerciful impressed the hell out of me with its 7-minute captivating runtime, seamlessly weaving intricate riffs and that fantastic double bass. While the mix and production lean towards a pretty modern sound, I do appreciate the attempt to keep the vocals raw and drenched in reverb in the old school side. The new school sound applied to old school death metal vibes is just awesome here, man. Fragments of the Ageless made me realize that you can take decades old genre tropes with some new studio tricks and make it sound absolutely fantastic. Check this one out, man. Don't forget to drop a thumbs up if you're new. Think about subscribing too. Let us know what your favorite album was in the comments. Check out some of our other videos right here.
Go with the gods, Forgemates. The Slime Lord is waiting with his slimy tentacles.
These are some of the best of April.
Let's do it.
My Dying Bride, Immortal Binding. For anyone that's not familiar with this band, I am actually pretty jealous. This is a band I wish I could rediscover. While their 30-odd year career has taken them in some unusual or lackluster directions, the core of this band has always been a magnificent showcase of dreary, extreme metal. Their 2020 release, The Ghost of Orion, was a stunning surprise from this band, and I don't think that as a whole, Immortal Binding really tops that album. I will say, however, that this band still has some tricks up their sleeve. The song The Apocalyptist is absolutely fucking insane, and very well could be one of the best songs that they've ever written.
His soul child now dead, his soul crawling away.
This is a really solid outing from this group. If you're a fan of this band, you won't be disappointed. And I also invite you to stick around until the end of this episode to hear about an album that contends with My Dying Bride and very well could have topped them for this year's Gothic Doom release. Uh-oh.
Get your cordless drills ready, folks, because it's time to drill some goddamn skulls. In the realm of death metal, few things rival the thrill of finely crafted brutality. It's like an outpouring of raw vigor, enough to shatter shitty moods and perk up our days. Surprising to me, death metal has become a massive comfort food to me and a staple in my day-to-day. Tracks like Cut the Cord and Drill the Skull showcases Necrot's descent into madness. This album isn't just another release for the band either, it's an important moment in their career. With each track, they solidify their signature sound, blending old school allure with modern production techniques. Greg Wilkinson did an absolutely fantastic job here. The track list flows effortlessly, balancing up-tempo aggression with moments of savage complexity. Necrowret has raised the bar here with Lifeless Birth, delivering their best work yet, in my opinion. If you're looking for some killer riffage with your roughage, look no further, folks. This one's a fucking slab.
Austere, Beneath the Threshold. The depressive black metal subgenre never has made sense to me. There's already depressive music and it's called doom metal. And there's already black and doom metal, so why make up a whole new subgenre? Either way, Austere has come out from the land down under during the mid-2000s to add their contribution to this weak subgenre. After their second release, the band took a long break with their hiatus stopping after last year's Corrosion of Hearts. This is an immediate follow-up in Beneath the Threshold, and I gotta say, these guys are taking on new territory like champions. This record edges into post-blackened doom territory with its blatant tropes taken from the 90s melodic doom death scene. It's very welcome for this band, and dare I say, they handle this new facet of their sound with fucking brilliance. There's nothing wrong with this record, really. It's very well paced. It leaves me feeling fulfilled and wanting more from these guys. Really a fantastic blackened doom record for 2024.
Castle Rat, Into the Realm. Castle Rat's debut album, Into the Realm, is a delightful anomaly in the heavy doom genre. On one hand, this is your standard old school metal affair, right? But on the other, you got the whole package of mysticism to grab onto. The opening chords of Dagger, Dagger to the thunderous crescendo of Nightblood. It strikes a balance here between novelty and familiarity in the heavy doom genre. Riley Pinkerton, aka the Rat Queen, weaves a tale of mythical proportions amidst medieval imagery supported by Franco's Iommi-like riffs and Ronnie's huge bass tone and Josh's warm but driving drum parts. Pinkerton's vocal range captures the essence of heavy metal legends like Black Sabbath and also Candlemass, infusing each track with impressive dynamic emotions. Into the Realm is meticulously crafted with instrumental breaks that punctuate the narrative in a way that has just mysticism and spellbinding allure, ensuring maximum immersion. While it may not revolutionize the genre, sure, its imaginative storytelling and balanced compositions offer a refreshing and also fun take on the classic metal genre. Castle Rat's blend of tradition and innovation makes Into the Realm a captivating journey that everybody should check out. You get bonus points too if you listen to it in a haunted castle.
Art. Untouched by fire. The mystical monastic music of this unique Northumbrian act took us by surprise with their 2022 debut full-length Take Up My Bones. This is slow, brooding doom metal that is practically formless in how it weaves through crushing, heavy sections and beautiful, airy orchestral sections. Yes, the monk chants are here in full force. It really sounds like a choir was put on standby just for this record. The brainchild of Winterfilleth member Mark Deeks, art captures the beauty of the old world, its history, its legacy, and wraps it very neatly into an epic doom metal package. Mark busted out his old Rolodex and called some legendary names in the UK scene. It's always great to see when an artist is humble enough to realize that teamwork makes the dream work. This record gives me a ton of early Saturnus vibes with its heavy riffing backed by haunting male vocals. There's just enough variety in here with the orchestrations to keep me enchanted. This is a really strong follow-up to their debut. Make sure to scope it if you enjoyed that record.
Labyrinthus Stellarum, Vortex of the Worlds. Ukraine's Labyrinthus Stellarum ventures boldly into wild cosmic territories with their latest release, Vortex of the Worlds. While the programmed drums might be a deal breaker for some people, notably drummers, they're utilized in a way here that just absolutely works, man. Departing from the typical Atmo Black formula, the band combines complex progressive guitar leads, unconventional rhythmic structures, and those dreamy synths. The evolution from their debut album to this one is a more fierce and more aggressive approach. Vortex of the Worlds delivers fast-paced black metal, sure, but it's punctuated by those great raspy vocals, some lo-fi production that works, and subtle choirs among those amazing keyboard melodies. Melody and catchiness remain integral here, painting a vivid, sonic, cosmic journey throughout space and time. Despite the lyrical themes of cosmic disorder, the music exudes energy and upliftment. Thanks to the outstanding, like I said, keyboard arrangements, it's definitely the highlight. At 36 minutes, this band's concise approach stands out in the genre that is prone to excess, but it's done to perfection here. This is a killer take on atmospheric black metal, man, blending electronic experimentation with dreamlike wonder. Don't skip this one.
Dvoon, Voidkind, arguably one of the biggest records to come out this month. This is a band that has taken the post-metal sludge scene by the nuts, weaving in tropes from classic bands like Isis, Cult of Luna, and Neurosis, and putting a new, modern spin on that classic 90s sound. Where Dune stands out is in their intricacies, favoring complex rhythms and percussion over the slow, brooding atmosphere that this subgenre relies on to build tension. Dune seems to feel more comfortable relying on gent-style tropes, causing the listener to feel swirled and dragged along their complex musical structures. I need a little more time for this record to really grow on me. On paper, I love this band and everything that they're doing, but like their cousins in sound and Baroness, there are some quirks that I just don't find super flattering, and my doomy heart sometimes wishes they would just slow things down a little bit and let them simmer. Yeah, that's the stuff right there. Overall, this is a great record with some standout tracks. It'll easily be some of your favorites, I'm sure, Forgemates, but I'm hard-pressed to put this at the end of my year list, so it belongs right here, right now, just fine.
Sistvain, At Light's Demise. This band, hailing from the UK, debuts At Light's Demise, blending atmospheric black metal with weighty doom influence, which is near and dear to my heavy heart.
There was once the unwritten page.
Drawing inspiration from bands like Agalok and Wolves in the Throne Room, this 58-minute journey offers a rich tapestry of emotive music that is 100% in my wheelhouse of sad music. This album skillfully balances melancholic atmosphere with blackened intensity, punctuated with introspective moments amidst a torrent of blast beats and slow doom vibes. Those doom influences, too, are seamlessly woven in, adding depth and diversity to the overall sound, which, as you all know, we love those sad and slow vibes. Embracing bleakness and fury, At Light's Demise finds beauty in despair, with those post-black metal influences and melodies seamlessly integrated. The intricate bass adds a unique dimension on this album too, and it's often overlooked in this genre. Vocally, the acidic screams and deep growls convey passion and vehemence, complementing the music's atmospheric depth. Despite some brief instrumental interludes, the album begs for repeat listens. It does not feel as long as it is. If you got any hike plans this spring and summer, this is the perfect album to throw on and take with you.
Last but not least, The Vision Bleak Weird Tales. This month's left hook from out of nowhere is this amazing album with a subpar album title. There's nothing cut and dry about this record, so for them to be categorized as gothic metal is a pretty loose description. Sure, they have the typical instrumentation you might hear in gothic metal. But for all the best reasons, this band refuses to stay in a corner, intricately weaving between old, analog-sounding atmospheres to modern, in-your-face metal riffs with sharp guitars and huge-sounding drums. I'm ashamed to say that this is actually my first running with the band, and I can see why they're so highly acclaimed. This whole album relies on an introspective, emotional narrative that's supported by instrumentals that sound like they're from a 1960s horror movie. This is a terrific album, and in a head-to-head with My Dying Bride's record, I'd pick this one. There's some cutting-edge stuff in here, reinvigorating a stale gothic doom scene. An easy album of the year contender for me. Don't sleep on this one if you haven't heard it.
Ingested, The Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams. Ingested, veterans of Manchester's deathcore scene, was a brand new band for me, I know. And their newest album, The Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams, did not disappoint me, man. After checking out their back catalog a little bit, they've retained their trademark blast beats and guitar riff sound, but man, is there some hard-hitting moments in this 45-minute tour of brutality. Many of these tracks easily found their home on my gym playlist too. So if you're looking for something like that, this is perfect. Commencing with Paragon of Purity, the album blends relentless heaviness with classic death metal undertones. The album goes beyond aggression too, aiming to innovate within the deathcore genre, which I appreciated. Expect to Fail features Josh Middleton of Silosis. It introduces some groove and some tempo shifts, which is really cool because I'm a huge fan of Josh's work in his other band. Mark Hunter of Chimera also makes an appearance on the song In Nothingness, which shows the band's more experimental side. Giving some unique vibes to the pacing of the record. It's not just deathcore. There's some other cool stuff in there. If you're looking for a straight up heavy death metal deathcore record with some cool experimentation to it, these veterans put together something pretty goddamn great here. What were your favorite metal albums of April? Leave it down in the comments below. Check out some of these other videos right here and make sure you thumbs up.
Go with the gods, Forgemates. The weird tales are all about you.
What's up, y'all? We're talking about the best of May 2024 today.
These metal albums are sure to ravage your brain.
Kicking it off with Thou's Umbilical. Thou have always reveled in misanthropy, right? Challenging their audiences and portraying humanity as a failed experiment through their lyrics. With their new album, Umbilical, everybody's been raving about it. They embrace their sludgy roots while retaining their signature intensity. Vocalist Brian Funk describes the album as a self-critique, confronting compromises that the band has made throughout their careers. Interestingly, Umbilical features a more streamlined approach for the band, which made it easier for me to get into this sludgier kind of doom genre. There are no tracks that exceed the 7-minute mark, and it's got a more traditional song structure throughout the runtime. Despite the shift in the band, though, the album remains heavy as fucking hell. Arguably, their heaviest yet. The lead single, I Feel Nothing When You Cry, which if somebody told me that, I would probably cry, showcases busy drumming and thick as hell guitar riffs, including a faster and them embracing hooks for a change, which was kind of rad. Overall, Umbilical reflects Thou's evolution in a great way, blending grunge kind of subgenre with the sludge that we all know and love while maintaining that experimental edge. It's refreshing as fuck, introspective, and an undeniably heavy offering from the band that just continues to defy easy categorization.
We love do-it-yourself projects here at The Forge. In fact, we ourselves are DIY musicians. We know what it takes to sit down, meticulously track guitar parts and vocals and bass, the intricacies of drum setups. It can be very daunting sometimes. But sometimes it's just best to be simple and kind of weird. This record feels like a descent into madness. Some of the songs on here make me fucking like nervous to listen to with the way that the clocks, the alarms, and the other pulsing rhythms are scattered throughout the album to really push a sense of dread onto the listener. Between the first and second act, I'll call it, you really got lost in a trance as the band leans heavily into atmospheric sections. I forgot altogether I was listening to a Doom record until the band came back in full force and just caught me off guard. A really pleasant surprise throughout the album as this happens. The usage of electronic and industrial vibes is very, very welcome. The mix is super unique. It's raw and unpolished in a way that sounds like it was recorded on an old 8-track in a basement somewhere. In the Bandcamp page for Doubt Sower, their bio, they talk about different practice spaces and areas of their home in which they recorded, and these different environments really shine in the mix. Can't help but want to return to this one just to discover all the little hidden sonic intricacies of this album. This is really cool stuff.
Let's get classical and experimental, folks, with Aquilus Bellum 2. Aquilus is an extraordinary metal band known for their experimental fusion into symphonic classic metal and fusing that with blackened metal. Just 2.5 years after their last release, which is kind of mind-blowing to me, they return here with Bellum 2, and that's an album that just truly captivated me. Led by their talented head horseman, Oris Rosenquist, this album continues to reign over the orchestral metal domain, offering a majestic and just immersive as hell experience. Throughout Bellum 2, it's heavier than its predecessor, sure, but it places a strong emphasis on orchestration with violin melodies and piano just taking precedence over the traditional metal elements. The album's 8 tracks are structured like a goddamn symphony, and it rules, man. Flowing seamlessly throughout diverse sonic landscapes and just demonstrating impeccable composition and transitions. Bellum 2 is just a stunning testament to this band's artistry, dude. If you have missed this band for some reason, absolutely go check it out. It is a prominent release in the genre.
You probably wouldn't think of Massachusetts as the state that delivers high-quality stoner doom, but I think we're doing pretty damn well over here between bands like Elder and Black Pyramid. Black Pyramid has been around for a hot minute, and if this record doesn't launch them into new heights, color me surprised. Much like the funeral doom subgenre, stoner doom has to have something interesting going for it to hold our attention. Bands like Electric Wizard are at the bottom of the heap for me because they just get too comfortable in their fuzzed out space. On the other side of the spectrum, you've got bands like Sleep. delivering highly dynamic song compositions and records that are guaranteed to bust out both indica and sativa, giving you a full spectrum of audio delight. Black Pyramid sits very comfortably in the middle of this stoner spectrum as they deliver strong, neck-breaking riffs alongside that droning, introspective sort of free jam that you expect from bands that indulge in the devil's lettuce. It'd be hard-pressed to revisit this album in its entirety. That's kind of a nick that I would give it, given that it's just about 70 minutes long. I don't know if it's me, man, but I just don't have the time usually to sit down and like listen to something like that from front to back. However, there are definitely a couple songs I would throw on a Stoner Doom playlist, particularly the first 2 tracks. I don't know what their tour schedule looks like by the time this comes out, but if you see their name pop up on a bill near you, definitely jump on that. This is something that you're going to want to see live.
They are absolutely disgusting live. Go see them. Veil of Panath, between the worlds of life and death. After nearly 8 years, Veil of Panath makes a triumphant return here with their latest album. Building the foundation on their previous EP, Accursed, this release sees the band exploring darker, blackened influences while staying true to their technical death metal roots. What distinguishes this album is its seamless fusion of extreme metal with compelling melodic themes. The guitars and the orchestral arrangements weave together perfectly, creating moments of urgency and just emotional resonance. In addition to their signature style, Veil of Panath introduces groovy synth elements on top of the brutal metal, adding a fresh, sophisticated layer to their sound. Enhanced production quality here too allows that intricate instrumentation to stand out and gives those moments where the band holds back a solid foundation before they just pummel the hell out of you. Fans of tech death and extreme metal will find plenty to enjoy here, though the true impact of this album is yet to be seen for Veil of Panath's legacy.
Ufomamat, Hidden. This is an Italian band with a pretty storied career with over a quarter century together releasing music. That's a pretty monumental feat, if you ask me, especially when you consider that this band has been playing a very niche subgenre within a subgenre. To call this album Stoner Doom doesn't do it quite justice. In fact, I was finding more tropes from the sludge or post-metal categories. Think bands like Cult of Luna, Neurosis. However, hidden within is a vast expanse of music with winding musical trails that take pages straight out of the stoner and psychedelic cookbook. The dynamics of this record is what seems to stand out for me. No, I don't recall note for note any of the trippy, spaced out jam sections, but I know they're on this record. And they're usually long, drawn out, but still pretty interesting. Alongside these cosmic passages are the sun-sized riffs in tones from this three-piece band. They get loud, with fuzzed out guitars reminding you that this band still knows how to back up a dump truck full of riffs onto your head. I have a soft spot for this blend of space rock, sludge, and stoner metal. It has all the right ingredients in the right proportions for me. Spoiler alert, not an album of the year contender, righteous nonetheless.
Gatecreeper, Dark Superstition. This is their third album and represents a major evolution for the death metal band from Arizona, traditionally recognized for their harsh, desert-influenced, spiky cactus sound. This is the band venturing into further darkness, merging intense heaviness with smooth melodies. Think Dismember leaning into In Flames sound. It's great. While their earlier albums didn't always leave a lasting impression on me, An Unexpected Reality broke some new ground for me, combining brief, hardcore-inspired moments with an epic death doom piece. Now, nearly 4 years later, Dark Superstition is here, folks, and it's preserving their raw-as-fuck essence even after joining forces with Nuclear Blast. This album boasts unforgettable tracks too, like Dead Star, The Black Curtain, Superstitious Vision, reflecting their more refined, Dismember-esque sound. You know what's awesome too is this album was actually produced by Kurt Ballou. Converge, which everything he touches is just metal gold. Dark Superstition solidifies Gatecreeper's mastery here, establishing them as a leading force in heavy death metal darkness that they've been doing. And you know what? They've boldly explored a new territory here, and I fucking love it. Check it out.
Bleak Heart, Silver Pulse. This is the sophomore release and my first run with this band, and I gotta say, I'm thoroughly impressed. I was very intrigued by the band getting tossed into a doom metal shoegaze subgenre fusion. I'm not really sure that this is an accurate description. Why don't you take a listen for yourself and decide. I would compare their sound more to bands like Helga, Crippled Black Phoenix, and Mesa. Bands that weave that kind of celestial post-rock sound with hard-hitting metal sections. Trust me, this band knows how to drop the hammer. Did you notice the production in either of those clips? It's one of my favorite things about this record. According to their Bandcamp page, this record is fully analog, and it really comes through with all of its sonic nuances. This record is inspired by the impermanence of our physical bodies, how we will all succumb to disease, illness, and ultimately death. It's a harrowing subject personal to both the band and anyone else that has experienced the tribulation of how fragile life is. Embrace the fragility, Forgemates. This is an introspective record, well worth your time. Despite the slow tempo on this record, it's paced like a bullet train and begs for repeat listens.
Definitely a sleeper hit, folks. Don't miss it. Pallbearer, Mine Burns Alive. Since their debut, Pallbearer's evolution has been a highly remarkable journey for the band, showcasing their ability to craft devastatingly heavy and emotionally resonant doom with progressive metal influences. Initially, it took me some time to grasp their latest release, but Mine Burns Alive ultimately reveals itself as a masterpiece in maturity, fragility, heavy as fuck resonance, and just it's reminiscent of their classic debut, which I loved. The opening track, Where the Light Fades, sets the tone with Brett Campbell's seasoned vocals and intricate melodies woven together with subtle dynamics, and this theme stays consistent throughout. I would say that this is Brett's most vulnerable vocal performance out of all of their records so far. While Mine Burns Alive ventures beyond the confines of traditional doom, it does retain its highly satisfying heaviness, similar to their debut at times, while incorporating elements from their middle era of their discography. This album is mind-blowing and emotionally charged as fuck. It's alive with sophistication and intensity. I fall in love with it more and more every spin.
I think this might actually be my favorite by them. It kind of takes all their best elements from their earlier stuff, from their softer era. They made something really special with this.
It is refined.
That's all we got for you today. Thanks for tuning in to The Forge, the best of May. We didn't get to nearly all of them. What are your favorites? Leave them down below.
And check out some of our other videos right here.
Go with the gods, Forgemates. The silver pulse is beating.
We're doing our best of June late because we did our roundups for the best of the year so far.
Prepare to die.
Some of these picks are gonna freaking kill you, I promise.
Kicking it off with 200 Stab Wounds Manual Manic Procedures. Prepare for surgery, folks. Cleveland's death metal maniacs. 200 Stab Wounds are back with a new album, Manual Manic Procedures, and this came out on June 28th at Metal Blade Records. Following their brutal debut, Slave to the Scalpel, their sophomore effort promises a more relentless assault of classic death metal tones with a more modern edge to it. The gruesome cover art depicting graphic surgery perfectly sets the tone for the blood-soaked brutality within. The lead single, Hands of Eternity, dives into the psychological torment of being trapped within your own mind, showcasing the band's impressive blend of heavy riffs, catchy melodies, and groovy-ass rhythms. Manual Manic Procedures marks a significant evolution in this band's career, delivering a visceral listening experience for fans of old school death metal, but also gore-drenched death metal with a modern bite.
Oubliette. Eternity Whispers. Oubliette
Proves melodic death metal and black metal are the peanut butter and jelly of extreme music. This album is not afraid to explore the melancholic side of this fusion subgenre, all packing a modern production punch. Razor-sharp guitars and pummeling drums create a soundscape that's both crisp and crushing.
Like a Sprite.
Crisp and crushing. Right. Oubliette weaves a tapestry of sorrow and despair, punctuated by moments of soaring beauty. It's a roller coaster ride of emotions, and frankly, I didn't want to get off. Forget the lo-fi purists, this production is perfect for Oubliette's assault. Killer riffs blend seamlessly with moments of sorrowful beauty. If you crave melodic mayhem, this album is a must-listen. Crank it up and unleash your inner headbanger.
You guys have been touting this one non-stop in the comments, and it's for good reason. Ulcerate, Cutting the Throat of God. Ulcerate's new album delves into the complexities of human existence without resorting to cheap theatrics. It's a philosophical exploration wrapped in a brutal, dissonant death metal package. Building on their previous work, this album intensifies the emotional impact with melodicism and complements with crushing-ass riffs. The atmosphere is hazy and ominous, but punctuated by moments of searing catharsis. Every element, from the intricate drumming to the agonizing vocals, contributes to a cohesive and highly mesmerizing experience. Whether it's Ulcerate's best work is pretty debatable in my opinion, but it undeniably showcases their ability to create profound and existentially challenging music. This is a must listen, man, for fans of extreme death metal and for anyone just looking for a thought-provoking experience.
Fractal Generator Convergence.
Fractal Generator folds you into the chaotic dimension of dissonant death metal on their newest record. Thick Morbid Angel with a sci-fi twist? Yeah, that's gonna be right up our alley. Grinding riffs and barking vocals are punctuated by unexpected sonic anomalies. Synths shimmer, ethereal female vocals beckon, and the overall feel is like exploring a fractured cosmic landscape. While Convergence is a worthy follow-up to their previous album, it doesn't quite reach the same heights. Still, this is a brutal and intriguing journey for fans of extreme metal who don't mind a bit of genre-bending experimentation.
Just be warned, these riffs are more likely to splinter your sanity than create a self-similar pattern.
That's a Fractal joke, I think. I don't know.
Seer Bliss, Heavenly Down, over 30 years in, which is wild because this is the first time I've actually heard this band. Hungarian black metalers Seer Bliss haven't lost their touch apparently. Their 9th album, Heavenly Down, is a feast for fans of atmospheric black metal with a heavy dose of synth and, weirdly, trombones. The opener, Infinite Grey, sets the cosmic standard with synths that give way to blast beats and unique, clear vocals all woven together with melodic guitars and amazing keyboards. The band's signature trombone sound adds a surprising but fitting layer. I don't understand how it works in black metal, but man, it does. It's tough to maintain my attention in albums like these, and I'm happy to say the latter half of the record does maintain its momentum. Chasm is the heaviest track by far, featuring black metal fury before transforming into an epic fantasy soundtrack. If you love bands like Summoning, this is right up your alley, man. Heavenly Down is a satisfying journey for fans who enjoy a more atmospheric and melodic side to their black metal. While some might find the epic elements overwhelming, the album is beautiful, tranquil, and the soundscapes are undeniable.
Hey Forgemates, remember the doom metal albums of the year so far list? You all wanted to know, where the hell was Crypt Sermon, guys? Well, fret no more, the Stygian Rose has arrived. And let me tell you, it's a masterpiece of traditional inspired doom. From the opening epic riff of Glimmers in the Underworld, this album grabbed us, dude. Like, the soaring vocals that ride these monumental guitar parts are really like a glorious throwback to the golden age of metal. Prepare to have your mind melted by scorching leads and solos. They're so good, dude. I swear I could hear echoes of King Diamond's Andy LaRocque himself. Check this out. This isn't just another slow dirge. Crypt Sermon delivers a heavy, traditionally rooted album that's a serious contender for one of the best traditional doom records in recent years, dude. Get ready to be crushed and captivated by the Stygian Rose.
Kavine, The Formless Fires. Kavine's third album, The Formless Fire, is a familiar feast for fans of their brand of melodic black metal. Expect a heavy focus again on catchy riffs, soaring solos, and those powerful vocals we all know and love. Bjornfat's songwriting remains consistent here, delivering scorching sprints and epic anthems, often with a fiery theme. The dude loves fire, apparently. While familiar, The Formless Fire isn't afraid to experiment a bit. The drumming is heavier, and there's some blackened death metal influences creeping in on tracks like Traverse the Nether. The Ancient Gods even features Amon Amarth's old drummer, which is kind of a fun fact. The production's clean and sharp this time around, making The Formless Fire their heaviest album yet. Blast beats and chugging riffs push that sound towards blackened death metal at times, and it really works here. This album is another solid effort for the band. They may be predictable at this point, but I don't really mean that in a bad way. It's like reaching for your favorite food. You know, you're not going to be disappointed. They excel at what they do, crafting memorable and fucking sick-ass melodic black metal.
Fu Manchu, The Return of Tomorrow.
Calling all shredders, skaters, and general thrill seekers, Fu Manchu is back, baby! These OG stoner rock legends, the undisputed kings of soundtracking your next adrenaline rush, return with The Return of Tomorrow.
Silence for alliance.
Now look, this record might not be shattering critical acclaim records like their last one, Clone of the Universe, which is very highly rated. But here's the thing, there's something just undeniably charming about Fu Manchu cruising into 2024 and still absolutely ripping. Hitting play on this album is like a time warp back to a simpler age, a glorious era of carefree jams and endless summer days. The riffs are chunky, awesome, the vocals are pure, unadulterated rock goodness, and tracks like What I Need might just be some of their best work ever. Sure, some say it might not be groundbreaking, but who needs groundbreaking when you have pure, unfiltered Fu Manchu?
Does anyone in the band actually have a Fu Manchu?
Maybe. They should. It's probably going to be a requirement at some point.
Yeah, it must have. Alcest, I'm not going to try to pronounce it, it's on the screen. Alcest's latest release is a perfect companion for a contemplative walk through a field of flowers as the sun sets and you're depressed. This atmospheric masterpiece leans heavily on the shoegaze influences, layering shimmering guitars and deep bass lines to create a truly immersive soundscape. This album, with its mood, soaring vocals, and uplifting energy, evokes a feeling of weightlessness, which I really need to feel. Look at me. Of course, the record has its doses of darkness, with black metal screams and riffing, which showcases Alcest's full sonic capability. This is an album of raw emotion and tone, and man, I love it. As always, Alcest excels at finding beauty in the darkness. The closing perfectly embodies the transition from day to night, leaving a sense of peace and resolution. It may be one of their best songs that they've ever written, to be honest. The entire album feels like a complete story too, each song leading into a satisfying conclusion. This is a pure expression of the soul, pulling listeners in and leaving a lasting impression. This will likely make it to our year-end list, at least mine. It is that good. Here's some honorable mentions. This month was insane, but check these bands out.
Etheria Conscientia ditches the frostbitten landscapes of traditional black metal and embraces a vibrant soundscape on the blossoming. This French crew injects their atmospheric black metal with generous doses of psychedelic rock, creating a sound that's both familiar and utterly fresh. This one's got saxophones and they wail and intertwine with the soaring guitars. Synths shimmer like heat waves in the desert, and clean vocals add an unexpected layer of intrigue throughout this record. This album isn't just about genre bending, it's a journey that redefines what atmospheric black metal can really be in 2024. Compared to some of their peers, Etheria Conscientia feels modern and cutting edge. They seamlessly weave disparate influences into a cohesive tapestry, making The Blossoming a serious contender for Album of the Year for those who crave a fresh take on the genre. Prepare to have your black metal expectations beautifully shattered by this blossoming.
What were your picks for the best of June? Leave them down in the comments below and give us a thumbs up. Really helps the channel out.
Go with the gods, Forgemates, and cut their throats.
When I see the title though, I think about like your wife like getting pressed against like a grill.
Yeah. New flipper with like the
just sear a little bit.
Smash burger bliss. Thick ass black.
It doxes us.
Yeah, it doxes you.
If you listen to it, it just gets all your info. Yeah.
This is also scams you. This is their scam album.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Emotional roller scope.
Roller scope?
What? Wow. I don't even make.
That's fucking awesome.
Fractor generator.
John Deere Fractor.
Fractor.
We're talking about the best metal albums of July, folks.
These albums are so hot, your face will melt off.
Wormed, Omegon, bring on the death metal slams, folks. After an 8-year hiatus since Krisu, Wormed reemerges with a squirmy vengeance. Like a relentless mutation, Omegon seeks you out with pinpoint accuracy and super beast slamming speed. You attempt to escape, but its technical, aggressive riffs akin to Cryptopsy on fucking Adderall with sledgehammers are relentless and just track you down. Tracks like Automaton Virtuologue showcase a brutal, punishing slam mix with some haunting melodies, while Virtual Teratogenesis blends uplifting black gaze with devastating riffing. Even when Omegon momentarily slows down, it never loses its brutal edge. Initially, this record's chaotic evolution appears kind of disjointed, but after repeated listens, I think you guys will find that it's been meticulously crafted with melodies and just great fluid storytelling. Each section, no matter how dense, becomes identifiable and captivating. Worm's fusion of brutal death metal and intricate technicality puts them alongside bands like Archspire, and they hold on to a unique sound throughout the runtime of this record.
Orden Ogan, the Order of Fear.
Believe it or not, this album tapped into my inner teenager. I am a huge fan of classic power metal bands like Sonata Arctica, Blind Guardian, and Falconer. The Order of Fear is an absolute blast. It's got all those classic power metal elements, catchy melodies, epic choruses, and a healthy dose of nostalgia. But don't let that fool you. Orden Ogan brings a fresh, modern sound while staying true to the genre's roots. There's a darkness lurking beneath the surface that gives the album a unique edge. If you're a power metal fan, I think this album is going to be a must listen for you.
We don't usually talk about power metal, so it's nice that we included something.
Yeah, for all you power metal fans.
Octoploid Beyond the Aeons. Intrigued by this amazingly psychedelic album cover? Check this shit out. I immediately had to check this band out myself. Featuring members of Amorphous, Barren Earth, Manhigh, and Deathmex, Octoploid delivered a surprising blend of progressive death metal, incorporating elements of surf rock, pirate metal, and yes, psychedelia. If you seek something that's familiar yet different, man, this album is absolutely for you. Beyond the Aeons channels influences like Vulture Industries and, like I said, Amorphous, Monomarth, and In Mourning without mimicking them. This album feels like an eldritch horror adventure, balancing moods from the adventurous Human Amaral to the introspective track Concealed Serenity. Beyond the Aeons is uniquely impressive, professional as hell, whimsical, and dynamic, and that makes Octoploid's debut a highly exciting entry into the melodic and progressive death metal scene. Check this shit out, man.
Blind girls, an exit exists.
This isn't your typical metal album, probably gonna get a little bit of hate in the comments, but An Exit Exists is a raw, visceral assault on the senses. It's more punk and hardcore than metal, but we talk about that stuff here. This is music that digs deep into your soul. It's a sonic representation of raw emotion delivered with a relentless intensity. Expect walls of feedback and a percussive onslaught that will leave you breathless. But buried within the chaos, there's a surprising beauty here. It's a pretty short album, clocking in at just 22 minutes, but it packs a massive punch. You'll find yourself craving more after this is over. This is just an album that demands your attention and leaves a lasting impact. Clearly, it's on our best of the month.
Nyctophobia, To the Stars. I love this band's last record, man. And when I saw that they had a follow-up, I was so eager to jump in. It really does not disappoint. To the Stars begins with an atmospheric intro that leads into classic melodeath riffing reminiscent of Insomnium and Omnium Gatherum. Their guitar players, they are able to create the most beautiful, melancholic soundscapes, and the vocalist, man, he delivers the best and most powerful snarls and roars. The album's pacing is impressive too, with those dynamic shifts on energetic tracks like Charon Gate and The Fall of Eden. Despite some minor critiques that I have about some song transitions, To the Stars is an outstanding record. It's fluid, vibrant, and its 38-minute runtime showcases fantastic performances and highly excellent production. The melancholic guitar tones and expansive soundstage are the highlights easily. It's surprising that this band remains unsigned. I don't get it, especially given the quality of their records lately. The album is a perfect example of melodic death done right. You guys gotta check this album out if you like the bands, like I said earlier.
Amateur, Under the Shadow of a Foreign Sun. While the term progressive death metal gets tossed around a lot, here too, we are guilty of that, Amateur takes the genre in a unique direction. This album feels more like progressive, blackened folk metal with a heavy dose of that Opeth influence. It's like a darker, more atmospheric version of still life era Opeth, which...
Sign me up.
Yep, we're all about that. First half of the album is a masterclass in atmosphere, with haunting growls and melancholic guitar melodies that just hook you right in. But the real standout here is the album closer, a haunting reimagining of a traditional Portuguese folk song. It's a bold move that pays off spectacularly, showcasing the band's versatility and creativity. If you're excited for Opeth, let this one warm you up. You're not gonna freaking regret it.
Hlist, House of the Black Geminus. This album is a sonic fucking assault that demands your attention. Shrouded in mystery, the band has crafted a dense, atmospheric black metal opus that is both highly horrifying and very captivating. A departure from the chaotic intensity of their previous works, this album is a monolithic wall of sound that challenges us as the listener to delve deep into its depths. The overwhelming loudness, while potentially off-putting to some people, contributes to the album's highly oppressive atmosphere, and I kind of appreciated it. While this record marks a bold evolution for the band, it's an album that absolutely rewards your patience as a listener. Beneath the layers of noise lies a complex and intricate soundscape that invites repeated listens. For those drawn to the band's enigmatic aura, this album offers a profound and highly unsettling experience. However, the extremely loud production, like I said, it might alienate some of you, but stick with it. Ultimately, this record is going to be divisive, but it is a undeniably ambitious work that solidifies the band's position as a boundary-pushing black metal band.
Forgotten Tomb, Night Floating.
Forgotten Tomb delivers a masterclass in melodic black death doom with night floating. Perfect blend of Wayfarer's atmosphere in Counting Hours intensity, with a touch of old school black metal, just for good measure. Guitar work, absolutely stellar, with epic riffs and solos, epic riffs and solos that will just leave you breathless. There's even a surprising dungeon synth track that adds a nice little layer of extra dungeon depth. This album is a total joyride of the darker side of metal. It's engaging, fun, and clearly, it's worth your time.
Crowless Inorganic writes, this is another bold, boundary-pushing exploration of the black metal sound. This band's fusion of black metal and progressive electronica is both jarring to me and highly exhilarating. The drumming on this album is easily the backbone and the highlight, seamlessly transitioning between chaotic intensity and subtle electronic rhythms. Colin Marston's synthesizers and Mick Barr's bass create otherworldly atmospheres on this record. While many black metal bands kind of seem to copy one another instead of finding their own sound in this subgenre, Crowless have experimented and found their sweet spot of something truly special and unique. This album is a living fucking organism, dude. Evolving, mutating throughout its runtime. While the extended electronic passages are undeniably captivating, I occasionally did wish at times that the band would just explode into their black metal core a little bit more. But nonetheless, this album is an amazing example of Crowless's innovative spirit, pushing the boundaries of black metal into, some might say, uncharted territory. This is music for those who crave the unexpected, and it's absolutely a sonic journey that rewards repeated listens.
Van Held, Atropis Doctrina.
All right, guys, this is probably one of my more unique picks here. Prepare to have your mind obliterated. Atropis Doctrina is not your typical OSDM album. This isn't the black and white cookie cutter death metal that you're used to. It's more like a monstrous, beautiful creature emerging from the depths of the unknown. Think of it as a horrifyingly beautiful kaiju-sized moth bursting from its cocoon. It starts off familiar, but it quickly evolves into something truly mind-bending. This album is a fearless exploration of death metal, pushing boundaries, defying expectations. If you're ready to have your perceptions shattered of death metal, dive into the Atropis Doctrina.
What were your favorite metal records in July? Leave them down in the comments below. Thumbs up the video, really helps us out.
We got merch. If you like what we're doing here, we appreciate you so much. You can buy some of this stuff. You listen to our 15-minute long death metal album. It's a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun making it.
Go with the gods, Forgemates. The worm is embedding in your skull.
There's some killer metal albums in August that you got to pay attention to.
All of these albums are worth your time, we think. Buckle up.
Get in the wagon. We're doing it.
We're doing it. Dark Tranquility, End Time Signals. Dark Tranquility has consistently been a cornerstone of melodic death metal for good reason, right? While their discography has seen some experimental phases, I'll call it, they've maintained a core identity throughout their career. End Time Signals is a triumphant return to form in a time where melodic death metal seems to be back at it and not losing steam. They are going on tour right now with Amorphous and our friends Fires in the Distance. If you haven't gotten tickets, do that. The album is a masterful blend of classic Dark Tranquility elements with some fresh inspiration. Tight songwriting, exceptional drumming, and unexpected vocal nuances create a dynamic but amazing listening experience for the band.
This is our fate, so grand and blind.
Tracks like Unforgivable and Neuronal Fire are instant classics, showcasing the band's evolution while staying to their roots.
You follow right, I'm not defied. We must be gone.
End Time Signals is a killer example of Dark Tranquility's enduring legacy and why they're goated in mellow death. It's a must listen for fans of melodic death metal and definitely a strong contender for Album of the Year in the death metal category.
Eye Eater. Alienate.
Defying easy categorization, Alienate is a sonic journey through post-metal, blackened doom, and metalcore, with unexpected bursts of
Bone-breaking brutality.
It's a dark and brooding album that will pull you in with its atmospheric beauty before sucker punching you with its crushing heaviness. Imagine the emotional depth of post-metal, the raw intensity of metalcore, and the bleak darkness of Black and Doom, all blended together in a chaotic yet captivating brew. Alienate is a testament to this brand new band's ability to seamlessly shift between these genres, creating a repeatable listening experience. For a debut album from an anonymous New Zealander, this is an underground debut that deserves way more attention. Dive in, get lost in the foggy caverns of this ritualistic album, and show some love to these talented musicians, supporting them on Bandcamp. They've got this as Name Your Price, which is insane. Just go buy it.
Fulci Duckface Killings. Do you like horror movies and meathead riffs? Well, here's another slice of your favorite pizza then. Forget pretentious metal elitism, man. Fulci's Duckface Killings is a refreshing blast of no-nonsense, headbanging fun. This Italian quartet just doesn't take themselves too seriously, and neither should you. With horror movie samples, goofy song titles, and a healthy dose of Mortician-inspired brutality, Fulci delivers a pure, unadulterated death metal experience.
Dumpster decorated like a morgue, dark nameless, blood fetish like Joe Rifkin, from Canarsie to Pitkin, under poverty limits, I stick the knife inside of your fitted.
Heavy, sludgy riffs collide with bone-shattering breakdowns, creating a sonic assault that's as satisfying as it is silly. The vocals are guttural masterpieces, and the production is raw and filthy, just like the way it should be with this kind of death metal. Duckface Killings is a perfect soundtrack for a beer-soaked headbanging party, so ditch the intellectualism, man. Be one of us, be dumb, and embrace the chaos. Fulci is here to remind us why we love metal in the first place, man. Have some fucking fun.
Nile, the underworld awaits us all. Prepare to be brutally dragged into the catacombs of the nether realms, Forgemates.
This is a band that I've enjoyed since their early years. We both have, so to see them at this point in their career still making the brutal technical cacophony of sound that they've pioneered is just amazing. The production might take a couple listens to fully appreciate, but once you dive in, it reveals a world of intricate details and crushing heaviness. Tracks like Overlords of the Black Earth showcase the band's ability to balance brutality with unexpected moments of musical flair that one might expect at a bazaar in Cairo. This album feels more brutal and theatrical compared to some of their other works. But once you've immersed yourself into this record, the groovy slam sections will knock you out like a mummy on a rampage. This is another chapter in Nile's epic tale of darkness and ancient evil. It's a challenging listen, but for diehard fans, it's a must-have addition in their collection.
Inophelion Reaper Dawn. Inophelion's debut, Moribund, was a revelation on this channel, setting a high bar for this Swedish black metal band. Their sophomore effort, Reaper Dawn, not only meets but surpasses those lofty expectations. Reaper Dawn is a relentless assault of razor-sharp riffs, hypnotic melodies, and a raw, visceral energy throughout the runtime. The band masterfully blends classic black metal, sure, with influences from thrash and heavy metal, creating a sound that's both familiar and utterly fresh. Sebastian's vocals are a force of nature, delivering a performance that is both brutal and melodic. The production is flawless too, capturing the band's intensity without sacrificing atmosphere. Every track is a highlight, showcasing the band's songwriting prowess and their ability to craft epic, unforgettable songs. Reaper Dawn is a triumph. It's a record that demands repeated listens, revealing new depths and intricacies on each spin.
Nails, every bridge burning.
Nails has once again delivered a sonic assault that redefines the boundaries of grindcore. Every bridge burning is a relentless barrage of feedback, distortion, and pure aggression. Todd Jones's vocals are a guttural, incomprehensible beast, perfectly complementing the chaotic instrumentation of thumping bass riffs and pummeling percussion. This is a middle finger to the old school purists that cry about how metal isn't what it used to be. Ooh. This is brutal and utterly addictive. And with a total runtime of just under 18 minutes, it's hard not to just let it keep playing over and over again. While it might be difficult to digest in the first listen, this album's intensity is undeniable. Todd Jones said there's an expectation of delivery. If you see the Nails logo, expect to get pummeled, and there is no exception. This band has cemented their status as a leading force in modern grindcore. If you've been sleeping on them, this is a great place to start.
Zeal and Ardor, Grief. The Swiss band, known for their unique blend of black metal and Delta blues, have taken a bold leap forward on this record, exploring a wider sonic palette than ever before. Grief is a killer example of eclecticism, that's a word, look it up. Gagno and his bandmates seamlessly weave together elements of black metal, blues, rock, and even electronic music, creating a captivating and unpredictable listening experience.
When you'll be watching me from far above.
While the album showcases a broader range of influences, Zeal and Ardor haven't abandoned their signature sound entirely. Tracks like Hide and Shade and 369 offer familiar nods to their earlier work, but with kind of a fresh perspective. With Grief, Zeal and Ardor have solidified their position as one of the most innovative and exciting bands in modern metal. Their ability to seamlessly blend disparate genres is nothing short of astonishing. Grief is a killer album, man. It shows the band's unwavering creativity and their refusal to be confined by musical boundaries in black metal.
Emiensis, Reclamation Part 2. Thank you, Brandon, for putting this on my radar. This band has blown me away with their newest album, Reclamation Part 2, a follow-up to Part 1, which was released earlier in the year, and I had no idea about that. Imagine the wild, vivid soundscapes of Arctica blended with the modern production majesty of Dimmu Borgir, and you've got just what the taste of this band can offer. Massive guitars and drums collide with soaring clean vocals and roaring growls, creating a sonic tapestry that's both intense and epic. This album is a journey that doesn't need to beg for your attention. Instead, it begs for repeat listens so you can spot those new details that evaded you on your first spin. Emiensis avoids the "look at me now" piousness that plagues some black metal bands. Instead, they immerse you in their world, letting the music speak for itself. Reclamation Part 2 is a masterpiece that will undoubtedly be on many end-of-year lists.
Flesh God Apocalypse Opera. This album, man, it marks a pivotal moment for the Italian symphonic death metal giants. With a revamped lineup and a refined sound, the band has delivered what I believe is easily one of their most accomplished records to date. Veronica's integration into the band has been seamless. Her vocals elevate this record to all new heights. The interplay between her operatic voice and Francesco Pauli's guttural growls is a highlight. Meanwhile, the production is flawless as hell, balancing that brutal intensity of the band with the grandeur of the orchestra. Opera is easily a cornerstone to Flesh God Apocalypse's growth as songwriters and musicians. The album is super dynamic, showcasing both their ability to create massive anthemic tracks and more intimate atmospheric moments as well. With Opera, the band has not only refined their signature sound, but also expanded their musical horizons, solidifying their position as untouchable gods in the pantheon of symphonic death metal.
Talent, Todbringeren.
This Austrian solo project has been around for about a decade, delivering majestic sounds in the name of black metal. Like their Austrian counterparts in Harakiri for the Sky, the music draws from the more atmospheric and melodic influences without squarely putting them into the post-black metal category. The consistency of the songs does fluctuate, with some snorgasms towards the middle of the record. However, the standout song, Verachtung, is a revelation, dude. It's like a breath of fresh air, injecting the album with a surprising dose of like Typo Negative, Woods of Ypres vibes. Definitely check that song out. If you're into that emotive variety of post-black metal, which we enjoy here, Elend's Todbringeren is a must listen. Just be prepared for a few lulls along the way.
I'm sure we missed a bunch of albums from August. It was a pretty good month. Leave yours down in the comments below. Thumbs up the video. Really helps us out.
Go with the gods, Forgemates. The end time signal is chirping.
Beep, beep, beep. Mummy said knock you out. That's what I imagine.
That's amazing.
We should make that with like a mummy. Like, yeah,
I love that.
Beat down mummy core.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah, this is Ellen DeGeneres' Black Metal Band. It's fall, which means it's flannel season and basic bitch coffee orders.
The best metal albums of September are right here. Get your ears ready because they're about to be pummeled.
Kicking it off with Coffin Rot, Dreams of the Disturbed. Coffin Rot's latest album, Dreams of the Disturbed, is a relentless assault on the Eries. That's spooky for ears. The band's signature blend of guttural vocals, crushing riffs, and punishing drums is on full display, making this a must-listen for fans of extreme death metal. The production is crisp and heavy, allowing every instrument to shine through the brutal chaos. From the opening track, Slaughtered Like Swine, to the album's closing moments, Coffin Rot delivers a non-stop barrage of absolutely killer brutality. The songwriting's top-notch, and with each track offering something unique while maintaining the band's signature sound. Whether you're a fan of slam death metal or just a good dose of heavy-ass brutal death metal, this record is an essential listen for death metal fans.
Winter filleth the imperious horizon.
This is a fierce and ambitious follow-up to their acclaimed Reckoning Dawn. The band leans very heavily into their punk and early black metal influences, resulting in a more aggressive, visceral sound compared to some of their other works. In Silent Grace, featuring Primordial's vocalist Alan Averill, is a standout track that showcases the band's raw power and emotional intensity. If this is a hint at a future supergroup, sign us up. The other standout song on this record is Upon the Shore, an 8-minute long opus that showcases everything we love about this band, their layers, their complexities, and their payoffs at the very end. While this album's length might deter some listeners, there's definitely something to be said about the band's commitment to their craft. The Imperious Horizon is easily one of Winterfield's best albums to date, solidifying their position as one of the most consistent and exciting bands in the metal scene.
Avernus, grievances. Please leave your grievances in the complaint. Avernus' long-awaited return with Grievances is a triumphant and sad as fuck comeback. The band's blend of death metal and doom is heavier and more atmospheric than ever before. The songwriting here is absolutely exceptional, Forgemates, with each track offering a unique and highly memorable experience for doom especially. I love the album artwork too. Just look at that. That is fucking sad. This album marks a 27-year break between releases, which, you know what? You can't rush great doom releases. You shouldn't rush the mastery. From the haunting melodies of Nemesis to that crushing intensity of Return to Dust, Avernus has created a killer doom record that will resonate for fans of extreme death doom. The album's production is so fucking awesome, unique, it's suffocating, and the band's performances on this record are nothing short of phenomenal. Grievances is a must listen for any fan of the low, slow, dreadful version of mournful doom metal.
Officium Trist Hortus Venenum Venenum.
This release is a true gem for fans of melodic death dooms. Kind of surprised to see this band signed to Transcending Obscurity, not a label that I would expect a melodic death doom band to be on, but hey. The opening tracks may feel familiar. The album really shines with these two highlight tracks. What you just heard there was Walk in Shadows. It is a breathtaking 8-minute doom metal wasteland that showcases the band's mastery of this genre. It's a perfect blend of heavy riffs, haunting melodies, and emotional depth. Force Field offers a more intense and energetic experience before gracefully fading out. This is for fans of My Dying Bride and Shape of Despair. You gotta listen to this album if you like those bands. The versatility and enduring power of Officium Trist is obviously here to stay.
Put on your eyeliner, folks. We're going to Never Neverland with Unto Others. This band has quickly become one of my favorite metal bands like ever in the modern metal landscape. They're the perfect blend of catchy and dark, heartfelt melodies. It's clear that the band works hard and just absolutely deserves the success.
Or I could lash my tongue in a criticism, yeah.
Unto Others, Never Neverland is a fantastic blend of goth metal and traditional heavy metal. The band's ability to balance the dark and atmospheric elements with heavy and energetic riffs is what sets these guys apart from other bands. The album is just another example from their discography that sets their songwriting skills and their willingness to experiment with different styles. It just brings this band to a whole nother level.
I say that it will be okay.
From the infectious hooks of Give Me to the Night to the heavier moments of Mama Likes the Door Closed, Never Neverland offers a diverse and engaging gothic heavy metal experience. The band's playful attitude and their ability to write memorable songs makes this album just a must listen for fans of gothic and heavy metal. Don't miss this one. If you're new to Unto Others, this is just a fantastic introduction to the band. Check it out.
God is an Astronaut, Embers. This release showcases this Irish band's mastery of instrumentation and sonic layering, creating a truly immersive and captivating listening experience that may prove to be one of their best. The album's pacing is impeccable, drawing the listener into a world of soaring melodies, crushing heaviness, and soothing soundscapes. I'm gonna put those on my sunburn. The delicate interplay between guitars, synths, and drums create a rich tapestry of sound that never fails to impress. Oscillation is a particular standout, featuring a mesmerizing, locked-in groove that just propels the song forward with unrelenting energy. Fans of Russian Circles and If These Trees Could Talk will much appreciate this amazing album.
Grotza, Nadir. This band has hit our list on the Forge a few times, and their new album Nadir is just another exceptional reason of why this black metal band is killing it right now. Grotza's Nadir is a powerful and atmospheric black metal record. The band's blend of melodic riffs, blistering blast beats, and haunting vocals creates a really immersive black metal experience. The album's production is excellent, the musicianship is fantastic, and man, do these songs get stuck in your head. From the opening track Soul Inert to the epic closer Daffodils, Nadir is a complex journey through darkness and despair. It will definitely leave a lasting impression if you love your black metal more emotive and contemplative. If you're a fan of bands like Harakiri for the Sky or Magua, this is an absolute must listen.
So this band is called 69 in binary, so I'm going to call them 69, the opening of the Hypercube. For those seeking a truly avant-garde metal experience, stand the fuck by. Hailing from France, this band has carved out a niche with their intricate musicianship and dedication to their craft. Musically, this album is a percussive powerhouse driven by relentless tom fills and intricate rhythms. This is beautifully contrasted by the band's use of diverse vocalists, ranging from soaring male and female highs to deep, guttural lows. The opening of the Hypercube is demanding, requiring the listener's full attention due to its chaotic yet cinematic nature. At 78 minutes, it's best enjoyed during a long commute or a dedicated listening session. There's truly no comparison to this band. Their music is a blend of experimental metal, avant-garde rock, and theatrical elements, kind of reminiscent of Frank Zappa directing a metal-inspired Cirque du Soleil performance. It's wild.
I'm gonna fuck up every single pronunciation on this. I don't speak German, whatever, blast me in the comments. Kanomenfieber, Die or Catastrophe. Kanomenfieber's Die or Catastrophe is a stunning follow-up to their acclaimed debut, Mezenschmull. The album's exploration of the horrors of World War I is brutal, beautiful, and absolutely vicious. Noise's songwriting and musicianship is absolutely exceptional on this record. The production is absolutely bang on with the vibes of the World War I themes, and this album feels unbelievably formidable, horrifying, and fascinating to listen to. From the intense opening track, I'm not going to try to pronounce that, here it is on the screen, to the haunting closing number, again, here it is on the screen. This record is an absolute masterpiece of modern black metal. We put out a video a couple of weeks ago on metal bands that cover historical events, and honestly, this band should have been on it. This album's use of historical samples and spoken word pieces add a lot of depth and authenticity to the storytelling. Check that video out, it's in the description. If you're a fan of metal and historical fiction, this album is a must fucking listen. I am floored.
In order to feel lost, you need to desire.
Hellevorn is Spectres.
Hellevorn continues to push the boundaries of melodic doom with their latest release. A lot of melodic doom on this album, on this list. I love it. This is a stunning showcase of powerful production, engaging songwriting, and exquisite clean vocals.
When I see that fear feeds on hope.
Really, man, the highlight of this album is the delicate approach to how the vocals can both rip you apart and lovingly snuggle you in the same song.
Screams that move the entire universe.
This band's ability to consistently deliver above average releases with the assistance of one of the biggest doom metal labels in the world, Solitude Productions, is just a significant achievement in its own right.
Yes, I'm getting pulled into a wormhole.
Spectres is a captivating and sorrowful album that will definitely resonate with fans of Counting Hours, Mother of Graves, and other similar melodic death doom bands.
What were your favorite records from September? Leave them down in the comments below. And you know what? Give us a thumbs up. It really helps us out.
Go with the gods, Forgemates. The dreams of the disturbed are seeping into your mind.
Best of Seppi.
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 Not even trying. I love it.
That's such a fucking dumb thing to call September. It's the spooky season! It's time to talk about some of our favorite metal albums from October.
The leaves are falling. Stick around for this awesome list of the best of October.
Kicking it off with Mother of Graves, the Periapt of Absence. Mother of Graves has returned with their sophomore album that surpasses their debut in both scope and also emotional intensity. The Periapt of Absence is a stunning blend of classic doom metal and modern melodic sensibilities, crafting a sonic tapestry that is both haunting and uplifting. The album's production is a significant improvement over its predecessor as well. The guitars are crisp and clear, the vocals are full of emotion. I love the growls on this record. And the overall sound is well balanced and highly immersive. The highlights include the epic title track, the haunting A Scarlet Threnody, and the powerful Upon Burdened Hands. Mother of Graves has proven themselves to be a huge force to be reckoned with in the world of melodic doom. This record is a must listen for fans of the genre, folks. Do not skip it.
Out of left field is Jerry Cantrell's I Want Blood. A heavier return to form for Jerry compared to his previous album. Cantrell has always been the pillar of creativity in Alice in Chains, but his solo stuff has always kind of been a vessel of expression for his love of country and American folk music. Cool. Songs like Afterglow certainly showcase that side of him on this album, but for the most part, this record is rooted in the chunkier stuff that Cantrell tends to showcase in Alice in Chains, like the eponymous I Want Blood. Definitely some early sludge vibes on that track, if you couldn't tell, fused with Cantrell's distinct hook-driven choruses that are sure to embed under your skin. This is exactly what I love from Jerry Cantrell. I have a feeling that this one will be one of my favorites from his, with more spins. Degradation Trip was awesome, but I think this one's going to inch over it.
Keeping up with the goth doomy vibes, Cemetery Skyline Nordic Gothic. Cemetery Skyline's new record is a refreshing breath of fresh air in the modern goth metal scene.
I don't want this to be something I cannot control.
The band expertly blends classic gothic elements with contemporary influences, creating a unique and captivating sound with Michael's incredible clean vocals.
I don't want this to be our lives in darkness and out of control.
This album is a must listen for fans of gothic metal. I know it wasn't on our gothic metal list, you guys, thank you for pointing it out, but goddamn it should have been. That was my mistake. The album's production is absolutely killer. The songwriting is also highly impressive with catchy choruses and thought-provoking lyrics. The band's ability to create an incredibly cinematic gothic atmosphere is particularly remarkable as well, making each track feel like a mini movie in a lot of ways. The highlights from the album include the dramatic opener, Torn Away, the powerful In Darkness, and the highly atmospheric Violent Storm. This band is a band that absolutely deserves to be recognized for their talent and their dedication to the gothic metal genre.
And next up, wicked sleeper hit here, Divinial Verdict, Blessing of Despair, an atmospheric death metal album that confidently toes the lines of death doom, deathcore in this cavernous style of death metal with all the reverb and, you know, just that atmosphere that you expect. One of the things that I love about this record is the guitar playing. It is superb. The entire record rides on the back of the guitar riffs that range from brutal chugs to melodious dissonance, like pinch harmonics and just natural harmonics and stuff like that. If you know, you know. It's just so good. The songs themselves have a profound sense of self-awareness as each change in the riffs or tempo jerks the listener back to life. This record reminds me quite a bit of what Convulsing was doing back in the spring of this year. If you thought the new Ulcerate was good, you're gonna love this one. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's one of the few albums that I have just been listening to on repeat for days. I haven't really done that for any of these other albums. Highly, highly recommend this one.
Blood Incantation, Absolute Elsewhere. I know I would be crucified in the comments if this album wasn't on this list. Blood Incantation's latest album is a stunning blend of death metal and progressive elements. This band's signature blend of brutality and cosmic atmospheres is on full display on this record, with influences ranging from Immolation to fucking Pink Floyd. There's a ton to love here for fans of both death metal and just anything weird. The album is divided into two parts, the Stargate and the Message. Each section is a journey through a vast and alien landscape with complex riffs, intricate rhythms, and soaring melodies. Highlights of the record for me included Tablet 3, the Stargate, and the atmospheric Tablet 2 of the Message. The crushing Tablet 3 of the Message, dude, absolutely insane as well. Blood Incantation has once again proven themselves to be one of the most innovative and exciting bands of the metal scene. There's a reason why they're being talked about so much. They deserve it. This record is essential for fans of death metal, progressive rock, and just spacey ass shit.
And Cosmic Putrefaction, Emerald Fires atop the Farewell Mountains. Italian multi-instrumentalist Gigi has made his way into our brain housing groups, our BHGs, again. Brandon highlighted their 2022 album, at least on one of our best of lists, and here they are again, man. Showcasing an incredibly spectacular death metal album that reaches beyond the standard tropes of the genre. While there are certainly times where this album sounds like Aborted with its guttural, snarling vocals and brutal riffs, Gigi leaves a ton of room for more emotional expression on this record, and it really shines through from the midpoint of the album all the way to the end. Sitting down and listening to this album front to back will reward you with amazing clean vocals, unexpected sounds from both like symphonic and electronic instruments, and really a truly diverse experience in what we consider to be modern death metal. I really doubt anyone is going to be talking about this one simply because it's been overshadowed by stuff like Blood Incantation.
Blood Incantation.
Yeah, they are overshadowing a lot of these records, but it's, you know, it is what it is. Massive shout out to Gigi and his crew. You guys deserve all the love for this record. We are very excited for what is, you know, coming down the pipe for you guys.
Gorilla, Coma. This album is absolutely insane, and if you love modern black metal, you have to spin it. Easily one of the best of 2024 in the subgenre. Gorilla's Coma is a stunning record that showcases the band's growth and evolution as musicians. The Portuguese black metal outfit has expanded their sound to include elements of post-black metal, progressive metal, and even some post-hardcore at times, while maintaining their signature blend of huge aggression and also beauty. The melodies on this record are fucking infectious, man. The riffs are brutal, creating that hugely immersive listening experience that I love in black metal. The album's exploration of themes of darkness, despair, just the things that are in black metal always. There was a dose of redemption too, and that was powerful and thought-provoking for me. You absolutely need to spin this album if you're a fan of black metal and extreme metal in general. This band has been showing us for years how formidable they are, and goddamn, Coma was not an exception.
Sinistro Vertis, a stunning, seductive record that highlights this band's ability to weave between sorrow, enchantment, and beauty. This is the fourth album from these Portuguese doomsters, and it's very easy to see why this album is getting a lot of love in some circles. There's something about this album's production that will captivate you while also letting you hear every section of the band, from the haunting female vocals to the reverb-drenched tremolos that build into a climax of the background of the music. Stack on some fantastic songwriting, great playing, and yeah, we've got ourselves easily one of the best doom post-metal albums of this year. I'm eager to check out this band's back catalog. This is my first time running into them, and I am very excited to check out the rest of their stuff. If you're like me, you've never heard them before, start here, you won't be disappointed.
Ioten, Kinship. This metal band is so special, man. I was absolutely in love with Access All Worlds when it dropped, and Kinship is just another example that this band is completely killing it in the extreme metal sphere. This record is a powerful and immersive journey through the depths of human nature. The band's ability to balance intense aggression with intricate melodies is truly remarkable here. The album's expansive soundscape, featuring complex time signatures and layered compositions, created a unique and captivating experience for me. I loved this record from start to finish. The lyrical themes of connection and disconnection and the choices that shape our lives really resonated with me too, especially in this age of me being in my late 30s.
I quiver like the blade.
For fans of extreme metal seeking something that goes beyond the typical formula, Kinship is a must listen. Ioten's mastery of their craft shines through. Please check this band out and spread the word. They absolutely deserve it. Yup.
Oh boy. Unexpected hit from this year, dude. Couldn't believe it when I turned on Funeral, Gospel of Bones. These Norwegian doomsters are on the second phase of their career, and I gotta say, they're really onto something with this latest release. Funeral Doom records are very infrequent on our lists here at The Forge. Not to say that we don't like the genre, we love low, slow, and sad stuff, but I hate to say it's usually overtaken by the slew of awesome death metal and black metal and even melodic doom stuff that hits us every month. Once in a while, though, The Funeral is something you don't want to miss. These guys have been around for about as long as Funeral Doom has been a thing, but their reformation in 2021 really seems to be taking them into a more gothic death approach with their somber music. Dude, the vocal performance on this record is stunning. With those operatic baritones contrasted by beautiful female vocals in other ranges and tonalities of vocals. It's just so good. And the riffs, dude, the production, the guitar production, it's just amazing. While this record doesn't have a ton of replayability, it's 66 minutes, it's a beast to listen to. We urge you, spin this album at least once. If you're new to Funeral Doom, this is the perfect place to start.
Yeah, and I had this on my list, and October was just so crazy. I was like, if you love it, at least you review it, because it's so good. What are your favorite metal albums from October? I'm sure we missed a bunch. There were some really killer records this month. Thumbs up the video, really helps us out.
Go with the gods, Forgemates. Spookies are here to stay.
That's it.
Bye. Gobble gobble, folks. It's time for the best metal albums of November.
All of these albums have eaten their turkey and some cranberry sauce. Stick around for this feast.
Thumbs up the video, really helps us out.
Foreshadowing New Wave Order. Since their early days, this band has confidently towed the lines of extreme metal and goth rock really nicely, showcasing an ability to write catching songs that incorporate heavier death metal-esque tropes as well.
The arches and the asphalt, everything is distant from me.
Hailing from Italy, this band has been a prominent force in the gothic doom metal scene since their 2007 debut. If you haven't heard this band yet, I'm a little jealous because they've been phenomenal ever since they started. Their latest album, New Wave Order, showcases their signature dark and moody sound reminiscent of their earlier work while incorporating some subtle progressions.
Silver bones for cannibals, it's time, it's time.
Despite the band's lengthy hiatus, welcome back, boys, because this is a strong and captivating record, putting them in a leading position in the subgenre.
Yeah, dude, this solidifies them as one of the bands that is just keeping gothic metal alive and well in 2024. This is a fantastic record that should be heard by any fan of dark, brooding music, with the highlight track, Lobbies. Start there, you won't regret it.
Crippled Black Phoenix. The wolf changes its fur, but not its nature.
Celebrating 20 years of existence, Crippled Black Phoenix and Season of Mist have teamed up to showcase the talent and impact that this band has had on our scene. The album in question is a compilation of what this band has been up to. They offer some of their best tracks, opening up with one of my favorites from the album I Vigilante, We've Forgotten Who We Are.
What a cool release this is, man. Like you said, celebrating 20 years with a double disc release, featuring some of those reimagined classics and a diverse set of covers. The band's enduring dedication to their sound and also social activism shines through in both of the releases here, offering a highly compelling journey through their unique blend of prog rock, doom, and also gothic metal.
I'm very familiar with all of these songs, and I appreciate all their tweaks, especially in the drums department. They fucking sound huge, man. The production team has breathed new life into these already amazing tracks. We don't typically cover compilation records or cover records. This band doesn't get nearly enough attention, though. That's why they're on this list. Anything to spotlight them really just makes me feel good about my life. Check them out if you're a fan of Anathema, Catatonia, or Mono.
Neon Nightmare, Faded Dream. This band pays homage to Typo Negative in a unique way, worshipping tones of blue instead of green. Just look at that cover. While not a direct cover band, they channel the spirit of Peter Steele and the band's iconic sound. Songs like Lost Silver and It's All Over For You draw clear inspiration from Typo classics with their dark, melancholic melodies and distinctive vocal style. While the vocals may not quite reach Peter Steele's level, they definitely capture his essence of sultry and spooky delivery in ways that a lot of Typo fans will adore.
I can't believe I'll never hear you again.
And I do adore this, man. This record definitely fills a void that the loss of Woods of Ypres, Typo Negative, unfortunately brought about. A couple tracks really stood out for me, and the ones that you mentioned were them. I'm really eager to see how this band evolves as they grow.
While some may criticize the band for being a little derivative, it's important to remember the profound impact of bands like Typo Negative and Woods of Ypres. Neon Nightmare's music serves as a tribute to these legendary bands, and they offer a new kind of fresh perspective of that sound. Fans of Woods of Ypres, like I said, and Typo Negative, look no further. Both David Gold and Peter Steele, I think, would be very proud.
Father of time, to the crooked, the sick and absurd. No chance.
Tribulation Sub Rosa in Aeternum. Tribulation's evolution from death metal to goth rock has been pretty fascinating to watch, in my opinion. Their latest album showcases their continued growth, leaning heavily more towards, like I'd say, a darker, more gothic sound. Johannes Anderson's vocals have transformed here, embracing more clean baritone style reminiscent of like 80s goth bands, and it's awesome.
Their last couple albums have been amazing. This probably is my favorite era of the band. It just sounds so crisp. That Swedish mastery is really here in spades, dude. Just a very strong contender from these guys.
Absolutely. Tracks like Murder in Red,
On and on, chasing my black swan, tending to my creation.
Poison Pages highlight the band's embrace of like industrial and post-punk moments, while songs like The Vividor and Saturn Coming Down offer the glimpses of like their death metal roots while embracing that goth sound.
Overcome by a piercing gaze, overcome by a ruin. Because
However, the catchy and doom-laden chorus of Tainted Skies has been stuck in my head ever since I heard this damn record. Get off your ass, listen to this album if you like the more gothic stuff. This is one of the best albums that came out this year. Opeth, The Last Will and Testament, one of the most anticipated metal albums of this year for good reason. Opeth's return to death growls, man, has ignited the metal scene in so many ways. While some fans have been, initially excited, a deeper look for me kind of revealed that it's not just about the growls. We get a dynamic variety and eclecticism that comes with it, a contrast between harsh vocals, distorted, clean guitars, and that unpredictable progginess that has been iconic in the band ever since Heritage came out.
It's no surprise here, man, that Opeth is here on this list. They have been so important to us as musicians. They really shaped the entire landscape of music.
Absolutely.
For us. I don't even think we'd be standing here together. I think that they have kind of brought us together into this metal sphere. One of their better releases in recent years, for sure. This will go down as a contender in their discography as well.
Thanks, Opeth, for making us friends. I would hate Ben without you. By abandoning the growls, Opeth at the same time has expanded and limited their musical palette. And that's why we got The Last Will and Testament. While their prog experiments were incredible at times, even I admit I was ready for something new. And that's where this album came into the fold. With the growls reintroduced, we got a wider range of sonic tools at their disposal. This is a promising step forward for Opeth. It shows that they've embraced their past while pushing toward a sound that's just kind of new territory for them. While they may not be back in the quote-unquote sense, they certainly are on a fascinating and exciting new path that I'm still getting my head around. Panzerfaust, The Sons of Perdition, Chapter 4, To Shadow Zion. This is a triumphant return to form after the slightly, in my opinion, underwhelming The Astral Drain. The concluding chapter of the Sons of Perdition tetralogy delivers a relentless barrage of dense-ass riffs, haunting melodies, and an overwhelming atmosphere. The album showcases the band's highly signature sound, pushing it to new heights with its balanced and acutely structured compositions.
Very well said, man. Their compositions are so good. This is a vicious Canadian black metal band that really challenges the norms of the genre. These guys have been on a tear for many years, and their Sons of Perdition series is just a real highlight in itself. I'm floored at how little attention these guys get. That's
why they're on this list, man. They wrote a great record. While the album excels in its faster, more aggressive moments, Panzerfaust also delivers exceptional slower parts too. Like for example, the Damascene conversions is a particular highlight, incorporating the traditional instrument baglama in a way that complements the overall sound of the song. To Shadow Zion is a profound and immersive black metal record. It explores humanity's darker impulses and the ultimate decline. It's a fitting conclusion to the series and an ultimate reason to respect this band's enduring power.
You connected, I went through. You compile the stones I threw.
Another really underrated band, Vola, Friend of a Phantom. This is a fantastic example of modern progressive metal done incredibly well. This Danish band's latest offering is a captivating journey through intricate melodies and heavy as fuck rhythms. The album showcases Vola's signature sound, blending elements of progressive rock, metal, and also electronic music. Tracks like Cannibal and We Will Not Disband highlight the band's ability to balance heaviness with melodic sophistication.
Truth be told, I don't remember what went down, but I'm still cold.
The vocals are distinctive as hell. Absolutely love them on this record. And goddamn, the drumming is so good. It elevates the shit out of the songwriting.
This is one of our most anticipated albums of this month, so it's really no surprise to see them on here. I think this is one of the more, if not the most accessible band on this list, both for metalheads and folks who are kind of new to extreme music.
To that point, the album is relatively short. Every moment is filled with serious moments of sonic brilliance, and it lets you just rock out instead of, getting distracted by all the craziness. Friend of a Phantom is a killer example of Vola's artistic growth and is a must listen for progressive metal fans. This has been a repeated listen for me throughout this month. New layers, complexity. It's a gorgeous album. Don't miss it.
Yath Iria, Blazing Inferno.
Yet another highly anticipated album this month. These Greek metal gods are slowly building a pantheon of unbelievably melodic, catchy black metal albums. Their debut album was an easy hit right here at the Forge. We often bring up the sophomore slump, and I'm happy to announce that this album gracefully sidestepped that curse.
Building on the strengths of their debut, kind of like you said, no slump here, folks. This album offers a refined and focused experience, delivering pure, metallic enjoyment in blackened form. With well-crafted songs and a captivating blend of atmospheric presence and occult grandeur, Blazing Inferno solidifies this band's position as a force to be fucking reckoned with in the Greek black metal scene.
Dude, as if this band lost zero momentum between their debut and this one. This record goes from 0 to 60 in about 2 seconds. There's no intros, there's no frills. As soon as you hit play, this record is going to be unrelenting in your ear, but in that melodic variety, which is just so pleasing. For 36 minutes, don't skip out on this one. It's one of the best. Thy Catafalque, I'm just going to call it 12. Thomas of Thy Catafalque is one of the hardest working musicians in the scene. His last few albums have incorporated a wide range of influences, from a playful waltz that floats below a melody to gravity blasts and screaming. You can expect to hear really a bit of everything on a Thy Catafalque record.
With a diverse lineup of guest musicians on this record too, including Joe Quayle, who's an amazing cellist and composer from London. I don't know how to say her name. And Edu Giro, an amazing producer specializing in ethnic instruments from the Mediterranean. This album delves into a captivating sonic landscape, from haunting melodies to crushing heaviness. This album offers a rich and immersive experience.
It's avant-garde, it's a little folky, it's a little unusual. There's a Polish folk song on here. one of the things I really appreciate about Tomas is his humility. He got this incredible roster of people, and I think that it really makes for something special and unique. That is why it's here on this list.
And we'll probably get an amazing record next year. Hellburner's The Duality of Decapitation and Wisdom is a mind-bending exploration of avant-garde Black Death, whatever they want metal, honestly. With its dissonant riffs, schizophrenic vocals, and claustrophobic atmosphere, the album creates a truly unsettling experience I'm still kind of getting my head around.
It's easy to see this one is getting a lot of love. It's a death metal record that really sonically punishes you with that 5150 guitar tone and a relentless snare kick combo that never lets you rest.
This album challenges the fuck out of your expectations, but rewards repeated listens. It's an absolute force.
It's cool to kind of trek into the minds of these musicians, because I really feel like this is the kind of music that it's just like straight from brain to paper, and that's just it. The biggest hit on this, unfortunately for me, are the drums are super stiff. I think that's where you kind of get that claustrophobic sound from. The production kind of swirls around them, and it really can leave for kind of a weird sound, but that's probably what they were going for. I think when the kick and the snare are in full force, it's a little tough to listen to, but that's kind of part of the charm on this record.
It's a fucking awesome album, man. Check it out.
Yeah.
What were your favorite metal albums of November? Leave them down in the comments below. Thumbs up the video. Really helps us out.
Go with the gods, Forgemates. The new wave order is here to stay.